some pals, and there's also therapy too.
I wasn't recording that part. Well, I was recording the on Zoom, but anyways, there's a lot going on. So this week has the last couple of months I feel have just been kind of awful. Just like awful.
Yeah.
I just feel like depressed and anxious and tired all of the time. And I just want to cry all the time.
You need a break. And I really want Vegas to be that. Like, I know that we've got to plan things and shit, but I do want Vegas to partially be, we're here to have a good time. We're here to not worry about our work. We're here to not stress out about shit that we're usually stressed out about, Yeah. So.
Yeah, hopefully it can be that. I think that I am kind of getting on the acceptance level of not being fully everything's perfect. You know what I mean? Because it just won't be. It just won't be. And there's too many people for it to be perfect. So there's too many cooks in the kitchen or whatever. So, but it's going to be fun and I'm excited. So
yeah,
we will move on. Okay, Freddy Spaghetti.
Freddy Spaghetti.
Okay, so by the time this comes out, it will have been, I believe, 2 weeks that the school shooting happened in Uvalde. I don't know how to pronounce it. In the Texas school shooting. Uvalde was the city that it was based in. And
it's close to Navarro, right?
Oh, I don't know, actually.
Okay.
Not sure. But I had a recap already about Ron giving April a gun about the background checks, as we were wondering about Walmart giving background checks. And then I texted you and you said you had one too, which was really ironic. But yeah, it's just, I think that it's kind of not good, but it will be interesting because by the time this comes out, people will probably have moved on from the news cycle, and which is really sad, but that's just the reality that we're living in, that every single day there's something shitty happening. And so I really just wanted to tell people where you can help still, because this is unfathomable and makes me want to cry every single time I talk about it, but it's important. And we need to talk about it. So if you are interested in thinking about what you can do at this very second, at this very moment, you can text ACT, ACT, to the number 64433, and I will put it in the show notes as well, and I'll tag Everytown, which is the organization that's sponsored through, or that goes through. And it'll send you a link, and then you put in your information and your email address, and you can put in your zip code, and it will send you a link to fill out an already filled out email, basically, and then you just click send. So you fill out all your information, and then your zip code will lead you to your senators or your your Congress people, and then it's already filled out for you. So you can just click send, and it's as easy as that. And then you can also, by the time this comes out, June, it'll be a couple of days that you've got left now. June 11th, they are doing another March for Our Lives event all across the country. So if you are interested in finding out where you can march, you can text 954-954. So you text March, the word March, to 954-954, and you put in your zip code again, and then you put in the radius of how many miles you are willing to travel, kind of thing, and it'll tell you things in your area. If you're in Nashville, I looked it up, and it's going to be, I don't know if people did it last time, but it was 4 years ago that it happened, the first one that I went to anyway, and it was in the same place. It's in central, I took a screenshot of it actually. It's usually at where your city hall is, or where your downtown is. And so ours in Nashville is the Nashville Public Square Park. So if you're in Nashville, go do that. It's where they have Live on the Green and stuff like that, and the Pride Parade and all that. So if you, it's I believe it's from 10 to noon. No, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that could change depending on where you are. But that's going to be Saturday, June 11th. So please look out for that if you are free that day. But I really encourage people to think about this, because I know for me anyway, it's really hard for me to donate money because I am poor. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. But if you don't have money, there are still things you can do to help and to move the needle. It doesn't seem like it's helping when you email your senators or when you call your senators, because sometimes you leave a voicemail or like these emails. It seems like it's going into the void, but I know that they read them. I've read a lot of podcasts and listened to a lot of podcasts with senators and Elizabeth Warren on Busy Phillips doing her best. Like she says, yeah, we read them. Like we get tons and tons and tons. They have staff that is reading them. So like and the more you like put it on your to-do list for like a weekly chore, and I will also encourage people to text your friends, because as much as social media is great for posting that kind of stuff, it doesn't always help, because people are scrolling and they're clicking in their stories and everything. And just today I texted 3 of my friend groups, and I think three out of the people, or maybe 4 actually, some of them did it, but then they didn't tell me until later. So like they could be doing it and just not saying it. But 4 people told me that they actually did it, whereas I wouldn't have known that if I was just posting it on social media, and it makes a difference if you're talking about it. So even though it's really frustrating and like sickening, and I know you're tired, I know we're all so tired, but this can't wait. It just can't. And so if you need to put it on your to-do list or bookmark something, every town. Also, States Project is a great place to follow. Again, I'll put all of these in the show notes and on our Instagram, where you can start a giving circle. And you can have your friends donate. And I have donated like $5, even $5, and it seems like it doesn't help, but I'm telling you it does. $5 to $10, it actually does. Because if you get 20 people to do that, or however many people, it adds up. And for these campaigns that Democrats are running against Republicans that are fighting to keep having no background checks. These Democratic campaigns are grassroots and they need our help. So I just want to convince people to at least try. I'm not trying to take away guns. I would like that to make very clear. That argument has never been on the table. We just want background checks. I really don't understand why it's so hard to understand that. But
I would love a psychological evaluation done as well, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, yeah, of each person? Mm-hmm. That would be a great idea. I'd love that too.
Because if you feel like you wouldn't pass, you don't need to have a gun. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other issue is, right, I mean, I live in a state where guns are, and you do too, like where guns are just like people carry them. Mm-hmm. Like I will go into people's houses and there are guns on people's hips. And I did not grow up in a place where that was okay. So honestly, I still do get a little scared when that happens.
As you should be. Yep. I get it.
But that's something that literally we have to do sometimes when we create crisis and safety plans for people who are suicidal, is we have to tell parents to lock their guns up. Yeah. And we don't have to tell all parents that, because some people already have it locked up. But I think I haven't done a lot of research into this, but the Sandy Hook shooting and this one sound very similar, that not necessarily was it their gun, but yeah. At least the Sandy Hook one, I know that wasn't his gun. He got it from his grandma, and it was it was accessible to him. So that's the other thing that I think is just important, like that's gun safety. True. So, and I think that's where it really came for me, right? Is I was remembering, because I was listening to Master Plan 2 today, and I think I was just remembering when we talked about that, we talked about background checks, right? And that at least Ron was being safe. Yeah. Right, but we don't have people
not giving
following
April
through.
That gun under the table or anything like that. He wanted her to get licensed and whatnot. Right. Still not a great gift, but
but you know what? He's doing more than a lot of people are.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where the issue is. So I have not done it yet, because I've been in and out of sessions all day, but I will be once we're off today. It's on my to-do list to send that form through. So
oh yeah,
if everybody else could too, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also a bunch of resources. To States Project is the one where you go on their website and you type in your address and your zip code, and it will give you a list of all of the representatives in your area. Because, and I did this with when the Roe v. Wade was leaked, that draft opinion was leaked, and I looked that up, and I just figured out who, because it's going to be state laws as well. Yes, Congress, but these state laws and these local legislatures are really where we're going to come into trouble with all of this, because even though some are federal, a lot of these gun laws and abortion laws and all that stuff are at the state level. So we need to be voting in people that are going to protect our rights, and also just give us life, let us live, let us fucking live, maybe. I don't know. Like, that doesn't seem so hard to me. It's simple, really. But it is hard to be a citizen. I think that we're sold this thing of like, it's really easy to just like go vote. And it's not. To me, it's not, because you have to be educated. You have to know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, so again, you can text ACT to 64433 and then text MARCH to 954-954 to figure out where you are going to be marching in your area. There's something else I was going to say, though, about... Oh, you were talking about you go into kids' homes with like guns on their hips, for the parents have them and stuff. Busy Phillips was talking about her, her parents, like she's a parent and like she was, she'll have play dates or whatever. And the gal who runs Everytown was on her podcast and said that she was speaking at some convention or whatever. And she said, now when I have play dates, I ask the parents or I tell the parents, hey, I don't have guns in my home. There will be no like discrepancy or whatever. And then people will allow Busy asks, and Casey, the other one who hosts, the producer of the show, hosts it with Busy, asks the parents, like, do you have guns in your home before they go to the play date? And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Like, as someone that has kids or like, do you have guns in your home, or are they locked up? And it was really a good, argument, or not argument, but just a good clapback, I'll say, because Casey said, do you have guns in your home, to this parent? And this parent was like, oh, this is awkward, because they did. And Casey was like, well, imagine how awkward it would be if one of our kids shot the other one. Like, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm sorry, maybe I'll put a trigger warning at the beginning of this, because I'm really sorry that this is going to be triggering to a lot of people, but it's important and it needs to be discussed, and we got to do something. There's just no choice. So, those are just some good tips. And also, I mean, I will say, go out and, get a drink, or stay in and get a drink, or whatever. And realize, because I struggle with that sometimes, where I'm just like, I'm living a life right now and other people aren't. And that's where you have to kind of flip it in your mind and say, this is what we're fighting for: to have a drink with my friend, or to have a drink by myself in the comfort of my home, or to go to a fucking movie theater, not have to worry that I might be shot today, or a grocery store, or whatever it is. So, or school. Hello. Or school. Yeah. With children, literal children that are not coming home to their beds tonight. So, I just think that it needs to be discussed, and we really appreciate you guys like looking into that. It's just unfathomable. And so I was gonna just briefly talk about the last episode. We talked about, does Walmart require gun background checks? And I did find an article from 2015 that still holds true, actually. I did Google this, and the laws are still the same from what I could see. Someone correct me if they know more about this. But it's from the trace.org, which is a website that actually talks a lot about gun safety, but also just like laws and legislatures and like news about guns and stuff, which is wild. But it was a good article to find. So I'm just going to read what I found on here. Current federal guidelines offer dealers a degree of discretion in the small percentage of cases where background checks don't clear within 2 hours. So basically, under NICS, there is a loophole, well, not a loophole, but you can, when you go to buy a gun, you're supposed at Walmart. You give your name and everything. They run your background check. And then if the FBI hasn't reached out to you within 2 hours, or maybe it's 3 hours, then you can technically go ahead and purchase it. If it doesn't like ding you or ping you or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's kind of wild. But Walmart has its own background check policies that have surpassed these federal requirements. And they decided that they would no longer sell guns to customers without a completed approval from NICS. So even though the 2-hour thing doesn't hold true, for a lot of gun sales, Walmart is holding true to making sure that completed approval comes through. So that's what I found. What did you find?
I didn't find anything on that. Mine was just the like craziness of the timing.
Oh yeah, you were just gonna say that, yeah, yeah. So it is that was crazy, but the thing is that it happens all of the time now, and I mean we were talking about it also where like you get kind of numb because you see something on your phone and you're just like, oh, another shooting.
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking, and and sometimes you close your laptop and you're like, okay, I'll read that when I have the time to. And then you don't, and then you move on, and then you see another shooting and you're like, well, at least it was only one person this time or whatever it is.
Well, and I'll say this time around, and I could be very wrong. You know me, I'm not on social media a lot. I don't go on Facebook all the time. I don't go on Instagram all the time. We're all just going
through it together, okay? Yeah. We're all learning through it together.
Yeah. But I'm not on social media a lot. So I actually found out from my mom. My mom told me. Mm-hmm. And I do get the news notifications, but it was at the end of the workday, and I called my mom and talked to her, and she told me. But the times I have seen something on Facebook, it's been about the kids, and it's been pictures of the kids, whereas I feel like more times we're focused on the shooter. And I haven't seen any pictures of the shooter. And some people out there, you might have seen them, but like in the very brief time I've spent on social media, I haven't seen it. And I think that is what one thing I think we got right this time around, because I think we spend too much time on the too much comes out about the person who completed the act, and it's almost like they're the center of the attention rather than the victims. And I say this as someone who loves true crime and loves getting to the psychology behind a person who does this stuff. But I don't think we need to be focusing on that person. So I will say that's one thing I've noticed this time around that's different.
Yeah. 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 It's, I struggle with, saying that matters, but I mean, not to you personally, because it does matter. It just,
I'm not saying it changes it, but I think that's something I've always struggled with is I don't see any pictures of the victims out here, but I could tell you exactly what the Parkland shooter looked like.
Right.
So why does the public know about
Brock
that?
Turner was, but we didn't know who the actual gal was. You know what I mean? The woman that was that suffered. You know.
Right.
So
yeah, I think
I understand.
That was my point.
Totally. No, I totally get that. I also wanted to read this really quickly, and then we'll move on. But in 2018, this is a Walmart thing that I researched, because they are actually, I didn't think that they would be, but from all my research, it does seem like they're actually trying anyway to pass these background checks. But so in 2018, they made the decision to raise the minimum age to purchase firearms and ammunition in our stores to 21 years of age, because I think it's 18. Like in the laws, is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. Here in Arizona, it's 21.
I'm looking it up. Well, okay. So in New York, it's 18. Texas, it's 18. So there are some states where it is 18. But it's also, most of them is 21. So let's see. Under federal law, the minimum age to buy a handgun from a licensed dealer is 21, but the age limit drops to 18 if the gun is being purchased. And then it says ... Well, that doesn't help me. That does not help me. I'm very interested in this, so I'm sorry, but I would like to find this out. And I'm sure someone else like knows this, so bear with me if you guys know this, but Gifford's Law. Oh yeah, drops to 18 if the gun is being purchased from a private unlicensed seller, which could be a neighbor or someone online or at a gun show. So technically you can own a gun, but you can't buy it until you're 21.
Buy it. Yeah, you can buy it from a friend or whatever, I guess, or a gun show. Oh, but not from like a dealer.
Right. Okay. All right. Right, or Walmart. So then in September 2019, they decided to no longer sell the ammunition that can be used in large capacity magazines on military-style weapons. And then they required that customers pass a background check. And then it says, our heritage as a company has always been in serving sportsmen and hunters, and we plan to continue to do so in a responsible way. That we also videotape the point of sale for firearms and only allow certain trained associates to sell firearms.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. For Walmart anyway, I guess, but somewhat less than 21 plus year old is going to buy it at Walmart and then sell it to their 18-year-old person. So, or the 18-year-old person is going to steal it. So anyway, yeah. So I just encourage you guys to keep fighting and keep knowing what you're fighting for. Try to hang out with happy people. Text ACT, ACT to 64433 and then text MARCH to 954 And thank you for listening to that because I just think it's important. And hopefully we can, provide you some laughs in this moment. And our hearts just truly go out with the people that have lost anyone to gun violence. So let's try to rally because I know we're tired. I know it, but that's their game. They want to make us tired and they want to make us stop trying. And we can't do it. We just can't do it. Okay? Okay. So.
Deal.
Okay. Season 2, episode 24, season finale is Freddy Spaghetti. And I'm sorry that transition feels really weird, and I'm sorry about that. But you know what? We're just gonna move on. It's so wild. Also, that's what we do every single fucking day. We have some shitty thing happen, and then we're like, okay, I guess we're gonna be silly and try to talk about real life now. Or some kind of real life, So, anyways, this was directed by Jason Woliner. Friendly reminder, he also directed Beauty Pageant and Woman of the Year. This is the last time that he directs on Parks. Oh. This is his last episode. He went on to do a bunch of other things, though, including Borat, subsequent movie film, which we've talked about when we did Beauty Pageant. And he also did a Aziz Ansari special called Dangerously Delicious and Patton Oswalt special Finest Hour. And he also directed a lot of Last Man on Earth with Will Forte, which is a wonderful show if people haven't watched it yet. So that's Jason Woliner. And then it was written by Dan Gore, dream guest of mine. He's done 10 episodes of Parks, dream episode of yours, I'm sure, too, because he also did Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He created that with Mike Schur, which is great. He wrote and produced a ton on that as well. And the ones that we've seen him on so far for Parks has been The Reporter, which is the first time we see Shauna Malwi-Tweep, Hunting Trip, and Leslie's House. And all these are great episodes and people that have worked on the show before, so they know what they're doing. Like Mike Schur and Dan Gore know what the hell they're doing. So also there's a lot of Conan crossover that I found this time around. So Dan Gore also wrote a ton for Conan, which he had his late night show Conan, and he's credited as writing. Dan Gore is credited as writing on that 811 times.
Oh my gosh.
I know, which led me to see how many episodes of the late night show there actually were, which was over 2,000.
Damn.
That is insane.
Yeah, that's insanity.
I went on such a deep dive. I'm not going to go into it because I went on like a 30-minute deep dive about like the Conan thing and the Leno thing and like how many shows Conan has actually had. But he is so funny. Conan is one of my favorite, and I know you love him too. And he's one of the best performers, interviewers, improvisers. Like he's so smart, and I could listen to his podcast forever. If you guys haven't listened to his podcast called Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, like go subscribe immediately. It has the show with his assistant Sona Movsesian and Matt Gorley, who his producer. Yeah. It's so good.
Jack White wrote the theme song, not specifically for him, but it's a White Stripes song, and I love that he uses it because actually they're actually friends.
Oh, nice. Okay,
they chill. He had him on Coco. I want to say Melon, but that's the kids show that freaks me the crap out.
I've never heard of that.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Conan Across Borders or whatever it is?
No. It was when he used to do it was a Team Coco thing where he would like do hour-long interviews, and he did one with Jack White. And it's so good. I'm going to see him in concert tomorrow, and I'm so excited.
Oh my God,
Or not tomorrow, on Saturday.
Oh, Saturday.
My birthday present.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. Okay, yeah. I remember you telling me you were going to see him, but I didn't realize it was Saturday. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yay.
So,
okay.
Yes, I love me some Conan.
Yes, he does.
That's
that
a good
song,
podcast,
I
too.
can tell that we are going to be friends.
Which he
Napoleon
also
Dynamite
created
song.
into a children's book. BT Dubs.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's a great song. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It's lovely. It's not as heavy as some of his other stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my God, not as weird as some other stuff too.
Yeah. Accurate.
He's a weird dude, but very talented.
Yes.
Support. Okay, I have a couple things to just talk about really quickly before we get into the actual like scene by scene thing. Constant Knowledge is the name of the segment that I made up a really long time ago. Haven't brought it back until now. So because for those of you just joining us, my last name's Constant. Hello. So Constant Knowledge. Anyway, if you watch this on Peacock, if you watch this episode on Peacock, you're seeing the producer's cut. Which is wild because on the commentary, they mentioned certain things that had to be cut in the original airing. But what I saw on Peacock was the same, which was great. So you guys got to see stuff that was not original to the airing of this when this was aired originally. So, yeah.
Do we know what?
Yes, we do.
Sweet.
And I will tell you as we get there.
Okay. Because usually I can tell.
Yeah.
Because especially with The Office, I can tell. I'll be like, that scene's new.
Totally.
And I'm trying to backtrack right now, and I can't.
I know. I couldn't tell in like season 1 and 2 just because I don't think I was watching it at the time, nor do I think that there was it was on Netflix at some point for a while actually. So I don't know.
Just until Peacock became a thing. It was on Netflix.
So I think honestly, that I wouldn't know because I didn't. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think I like watched season 1 and 2 as much as I watched the other seasons. Fair. So I might not know.
Yeah,
but
that's fair too. Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, so I'll tell you what was cut. But yeah, for sure. This time I was like, I wouldn't have known that it was the producer's cut or that I was watching extra scenes.
Right.
Also, second thing, Constant Knowledge, second bullet point is that this is Paul Schneider's last episode. So sad. Mark is leaving us, which we rounded it out really well. The writers really did a great job. But according to Wikipedia, he left the series, and though Mike Schur claimed both the producers and Paul Schneider were interested in having him return for guest appearances in future episodes, Paul Schneider stated that he was not interested in returning and had never been contacted about it. I don't know if that's true, but that is what Wikipedia says. So I don't know what their sources are.
So it was a mutual breakup?
It sounds like it was a mutual breakup, but it's still, I don't know. It's like he was like, well, they didn't contact me about it. So, I mean, I don't know. But also, I don't really need to go back anyway. It sounds like. But I don't know. I just don't know. But it's very sad, and I love Mark. So, I mean, I'm just going back to what you were saying, especially in this episode where I love Paul Schneider playing Mark more than maybe Mark the character.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah.
It's hard for me to believe, though, and maybe I'm just being crazy. If he stayed in Pawnee, which it at least sounds like that at the beginning, right? Because Leslie knows the construction company that he's going to work for or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting to me that we wouldn't see him around town or at any get-togethers or just bump into him, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know.
I would have been fine with having him as a guest appearance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, sad. Pour one out for Paul Schneider. Or for Mark, I should say. Not Paul Schneider because neither of them are dying, but they are leaving. So pour one out. Okay. So third thing, this episode had a 5% increase from last week's rating, which also scored higher than the episodes before that. So maybe Rob Lowe worked because that's why they had him, you know. But I also think it's because it's the second season and they're finding their groove. You know what I mean? Like this is the time for shows to really get their feet on the ground is the second season. So I don't know, maybe a little bit of both.
Could be a little bit of both. We had a decline there in viewing for a little bit, but I think that was just the March Madness stuff.
Exactly.
So I don't think that had anything to do with Parks and Rec. I think it was
It is a good show, okay? And then, lastly, I have a deep dive, a tiny bit. I just wanted to get it out of the way now on who played Freddy Spaghetti.
Yay,
exciting. He was played by Brian McCann, who coincidentally wrote a bunch on all 3 of Conan's shows as well.
Yep. That's what I found too.
I was like, crazy.
they're both little redheads, both little hilarious redheads.
Hilarious redheads that play the guitar, that are silly, goofy. That's so true. I didn't even think about the tall. He wrote on Late Night with Conan, Tonight Show, when Conan was on the Tonight Show, and the TBS show that Conan had as well. And those are the 3 shows, if you weren't familiar, by the way. That was the timeline. So Late Night, Tonight Show, and then the TBS show, Conan. It wasn't Brian McCann, like AKA Freddy, wrote a bunch. Like, it wasn't like he did just a couple of episodes. He was a full-time writer, and he was also an actor on Conan. He did like a bunch of the sketches and correspondence stuff. And he was also in 30 Rock. I can't remember. Do you watch 30 Rock? I can't remember.
I've seen almost every episode, but just like once through.
Okay. So he's in this episode. For those of you who are a little familiar with it, and I'll explain this too for those of you who aren't, he was in this episode called The Head and the Hair, and he played the head, and basically it was the bald guy versus the one that had hair. And one of her and Jenna, the main other gal, are having this discussion of who is hitting on Liz, and they're like, why would the hair be hitting on Liz? Like, and Liz is even like, why would the hair be hitting on me? Like, I'm the one that the head would hit on. Like, that's my character, you know what I mean? And so it's really funny. And I'm explaining it not as funny as the show, so go watch it. But he won an Emmy for Late Night with Conan for outstanding writing for a variety music or comedy program, which, by the way, was when Dan Gore was also a writer working on that team. So that's so wild.
Crossover, man. It really is all about who you know.
Yeah. And just like getting in the right group and hoping that people like see how good you are. I mean, because Conan definitely likes his staff, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though he like is really, nasty sometimes to them, like as a joke, it's all a joke. He's so cool. He has a lot of insecurities too that he talks about as well. So like it's all a gag. But because he's never, and every time I hear it, I'm never like, oh, you're so mean. You know what I mean? It's just not that. And he also gets very serious in some instances too. Like as far as him liking his staff and being super cool and just talented. And anyway, so maybe that would change my tune if I met him in person. I don't know. But anyway, he makes me laugh. So when I listen to the podcast and on his shows, so I would imagine that he'd be great, but we'll see. I don't know. And then they also won a bunch of WGA, Writers Guild of America awards. So I thought that was really interesting, and congratulations to them. Also, another Conan tie-in. This is the last one of my segment. The guy who plays Ted in the episode Ted Party, and he like cracks an egg on Leslie's head. That guy worked with Brian McCann, aka Freddy Spaghetti, on Conan as well. And they were in sketches together. They wrote together. Like, it's so wild.
That's cool.
His name's Brian Stack, which is confusing because our Freddy is named Brian McCann.
Yeah.
Yes. 2 Brians. But yeah, so I thought that was just so interesting to me. Yeah. That they all work together. So
yeah. A lot of crossover.
Yeah, totally. Which we've talked about before because a lot of them have, like, Greg Daniels was on like The Simpsons as well and SNL, and so was Conan. Mm-hmm. Or no, wait. Yeah, and he did King of the Hill too. Mm-hmm. I was getting Simpsons and King of the Hill confused, but they did both. I don't think Conan did King of the Hill. He just did The Simpsons. But anyways, okay, well, so now I have summary written in whenever you're ready.
Okay, here we go. While Ron, Chris, Ben, and other city officials are congregating to make big budget decisions as well as take part in a massage train, Leslie gathers her park pals to put on a Freddy Spaghetti concert to service Pawnee and its children with pasta-themed music. Ben and Ron let their inner teddy bears fly.
Yay! Oh my God, so cute! I love that you said Leslie gathers with her park pals.
Yeah, I thought that was a cute play on words.
It's such a cute line. I love it. And then they let their teddy bears shine. Yes. Yeah. I hate Ron in this episode, and in the beginning part of the episode, I hate him.
But he has his moment.
He redeems. He has a redemption arc.
He redeems. Yep. 100%.
So we open on this montage of City Hall, empty trash cans overflowing. Andy's roller skating down the hallway and like doesn't realize that the government is closed down.
Yeah. It says essential personnel only, which I had a very strong flashback to COVID.
Oh my God. That's so true. That's so true. Oh my gosh. Also, I mean, I was wondering why the doors weren't locked, but there is essential personnel that go in, so they have to be unlocked. But yeah. And then it's also
like Ron's just chilling. Like,
yeah, he's just like hanging out. Why are you even there? You're just basking in the glory.
He looks happy too. Yeah, he does. So he looks happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then this was bad timing for Andy because he just got a super sweet ass crotch rocket.
Which, what?
Like,
I've never heard it called that before. I'm concerned.
Wait, really? You've never heard of crotch rocket?
No.
Oh my God. I don't know if it's because of where we were raised or what it was, but yeah, I've heard that term so many times. It's so stupid.
No, yeah. It's in Urban Dictionary. Oh, okay, so I don't think it's like a legit thing. No. It's people made it up.
It's a slang term for
sure. It's a very fast motorcycle, either foreign or domestic, that one must lean forward on while riding, thus making it look like a rocket is being straddled
by your crotch.
Basically. But
yeah, totally. Yeah, it's one of those lean forward ones for sure. That is so funny. I love this leather jacket too. It matches the bike.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Like
little red leather moment.
He's got all that leftover money from the 12% interest he's paying.
Oh my God, 12%.
I'm so
when he brags about
him.
how me too. He brags about how like little that is. Oh, that's such a high interest rate.
Ronald, how have you not taken him under your wing and taught him about all this? I can't. Because he's excited about it. He's like,
so excited.
It's the highest you can get. It's like, dude, bro, this is not going to work out for you.
No, it's not. Oh my God. I have such a fun deleted scene that I wanted to share with you because he goes on for a really long time about like all these different things that he's excited about, and they're all so bad. So I had like the deleted scenes are usually not that like they're long and they like have little things in between, like multiple scenes, but this deleted scene was basically just him talking for a really long time, so I just cut it down. But okay, wait, let me make sure that the sound is shared.
Also, he leased it.
Yeah, he leased it. What the hell? You're not even trying to own it?
Yeah. Buddy.
Oh, Andy. Okay, here's this deleted scene.
A key hole on the gas tanks. I got the red jacket, red helmet, red bike. Billy, the salesman, let me in on a little secret. The color red, scientifically proven to trigger sexual feelings in women. So that's pretty good. That was just an extra $2,200. Billy told me that this is the same exact engine as the F-14, which is the fighter jet that the U.S. Marines use. This part from the side kind of looks kind of like a frog's face, has eyeballs and a little mouth and stuff. A lot of this, it's hard for the layman to understand. I don't want to get too technical, but this right here is where the air goes for the tires. These are called cross-drilled dick brakes. I don't know exactly why they call them dick brakes, but he was pretty jazzed on that. That was an extra $2,200.
And then it just goes on and on from there.
Andrew.
So you spent $4,400 on dick brakes, and then what was the other thing that was $2,200? The keyhole or something? Shit.
The color red, I guess, because he said that's the color that that makes women think about sex, apparently.
Oh wait, hang on, I'm replaying it again. Yeah, you're right. That was an extra $2,200. The red. Everything matching because of the sexual attraction that you might get from women.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, which I scientifically proven.
Yeah, I don't know if it's scientifically proven. I don't care for red that much.
I know. Yeah, it doesn't make me horny.
Yeah. Red, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get with that guy. He has dick brakes. What the fuck?
Gross. Oh no.
I bet guys wish they had dick brakes sometimes. Too fast. over in 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
Which, oh my God. By the way, I did put a poll in our Instagram just tonight, and I asked, what do you consider third base? Because we talked about that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like, because John Ralphio says third base over the pants. And so here was the poll. It was, what do you consider third base? A, penetration, B, something right before that, or C, no idea. And the people that voted said that penetration was 33%, so not many people think that. And then B, something right before that is what most people are thinking. And then I asked, have you heard the phrase home base used when talking about sex? And it's 50-50. So, but only 2 people voted. So one person thinks that and one person doesn't. So I'm just saying. But I think that, so it sounds like I was wrong. I thought the third base was penetration, but it sounds like most people think that is something right before that. It's just under the pants. But the joke is that John Ralphio thinks third base can be over the pants. And it is under the pants, just not full on penetration. So
that's the whole joke, which is great.
Right, exactly. So anyway, we are saving lives here at Park Bells. So, so dumb.
Yeah.
All right. So next we've got him jumping over the count. Oh, I was going to tell you, it goes on even longer to say that the helmet was made specifically for him, but then he puts it on and it doesn't fit. I'll have to post the picture. It's like it goes up to like his forehead. It like stops at his forehead, and then he opens up the like clear little cover thing, and he's like, oh, okay, now I can see. But the clear cover thing is on his forehead. Oh my God, it's so stupid.
This dude can't.
Anyway, so then he jumps over the counter and he's like, nailed it. Pratt fall for the Pratt.
I thought that was, I don't know if I'm wrong. I very well could be, but I remember that I heard somewhere that was improv.
It doesn't say, they didn't say that on the commentary. Okay. They did say that he did like 800,000 things. Also, it technically, so on the commentary, they said that by the end of the season, they felt kind of lazy. So Mike Schur was saying, like, Andy, like in the scene, it says, or in the script, it says, quote, like, Andy does stunt. And then he'll just figure out what to do kind of thing.
Cool.
So that, I guess technically maybe the jump itself, like what he actually did was improvised maybe. Like they didn't tell him specifically what to do. But it was written in the script that he does something.
Okay.
So, and he does do that like 6 times, apparently. That's what they said on the commentary. He did that take 6 times or that jump 6 times.
Lord in heaven.
I know.
Oh boy.
Then we've got, I'm at the City Forum now. Are you there? Anything before
am there. Stephen Day Elementary School. I paused it at the outside.
Oh, nice. I didn't catch that. Sweet.
Yeah. So that's what it says. That seems to be on the building. Then there's something that's hanging. It looks like it was put there. Like it was hanging like from props. It does not look like it's actually. And that was the address. Which was 3909 Geary Street.
Okay.
But I wonder if we'd looked up Stephen Day I should have done that. Stephen Day Elementary School to see if it has an address, because that looked hung, like that looked fake, the address.
Ooh, I bet it is, or they added it in post or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything for Stephen Day Elementary School. Maybe if I type.
Maybe they made that up too, and they just put more effort into.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I don't see anything about a Stephen Day Elementary School.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a Stevens Creek Elementary School, Steve Luther Community Day. No, so yeah, they must have made that up. Who wonders who Stephen Day is? Maybe he's someone on the show or something.
Ooh, yeah,
because they always do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be cool. But then it also says 9 a.m. government
Steve
shutdown.
Day, assistant director, known for conspiracy theory.
Hey.
But that's probably not.
We did a thing.
Wait. We did it. Oh, wait, hang on. There is a Steve Day on Parks and Rec IMDb, but I don't see any sort of picture or like what he did. Well, that's interesting.
Yikes.
Let's just say that he made it up. This must be on some sort of like, you know, like fan thing. You know what I mean? Like somebody probably just saw that and was like, let's put it in Google and like add something like a Wikipedia that doesn't matter. But anyway, well, good catch. I appreciate that.
It has a board outside that says 9 a.m. government shutdown, which I don't know. Listen, I'm not as into this as I should be, but when they shut the government down a couple years ago, I don't remember there being a forum. You know? And specifically for the parks.
Yeah, interesting.
It's interesting. But I mean, I understand for the show that it needs to be happening. But the other thing is like 9 a.m. Can people come to that? Like people have work.
If they're working, yeah. I know I struggle with that all of the time because I would like to go. I've looked up town hall meetings here and they're like at 1 p.m. or like 11 a.m. And I'm like on a random Tuesday and I'm like, I
work, man.
I know. I'm like, I guess I could just go on my lunch break. But that's like really sucky that like it's not really accessible to the public that has to work. But I guess like you just make do. And if you are like care really like a lot about it, then you just go. But I also think that's why like senior citizens end up going to a lot of them because they're like retired and everything. Right. But
Fair.
I mean, I could see them having a forum. Maybe that could be something that I ask Brooklyn if she knows like what that would. I mean, I don't know if she would know from Adam, but you know. Yeah. Can maybe see.
Worth it.
Because maybe they had like a questionnaire situation, you know, where it's like, you know, if you need to book or not book, but if you need to like share your thoughts or opinions or whatever, like we're going to have a town hall and then this is going to be the last one because the government shut down. So I don't know. Or maybe Leslie just made that up like herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
possible.
But I don't see why Ron would come if that was the case. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to say that is in the reality of the show that it would be happening. So, okay. There now is going to be a montage of all these citizens. One says, with the government shut down, who's going to stop Al-Qaeda? Oh, good. Dark. One person says this. His name is Guy Stevenson. He was a huge writer on Mad TV. He was also in Superstore and Arrested Development. And then there was apparently a Mike Tyson miniseries, ? That he was in. I know. What the hell? It was on IMDb.
Never heard of this in my life.
I know. So anyway, his agent's emails weren't listed and his Instagram was private. So I requested him, but we'll see. He was also on his IMDb. It says that he was in Elizabethtown as a security guard. And I love that movie. So I'll have to look for him next time that I watch it. And on the commentary, Retta says that was her friend's husband on the commentary. So she knows him or like knows of him anyway.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Yeah.
And then next we have this lady. I'm just going to go through my montage of people that I did deep dives on. If you have anything, please stop me and interrupt me.
You go. I literally just have a line in here that I love, but do all the things first.
Okay. Which line is it? Or like, what does it start with? Or so I can know when to. Okay. Well, actually, I will just tell you which lady I'm going to be next, and then you can say if it's your favorite line. Okay. This is the lady that asks how long the parks will be closed. This was just one lady, and she interrupts Leslie when she says that she would win if this was a competition. Leslie says that she would win. Like, I mean, it wouldn't matter because I would win, but and she's like, how long are the parks going to be closed? This gal is named Claudia Choi. She was in the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix, where she plays an uncomfortable waitress, which I love that was her character name.
Do you remember you and I and Sean watched that movie together? And it's such an awkward movie. We watched it in your room.
I totally forgot about that.
Yes, we watched all the Oscar movies together that year before the Oscars. And we all just like left that situation being like, what the fuck just happened? Do you remember that?
Oh my God.
Every time I see Joaquin Phoenix, I tell Ivan about it. And every time he's like, yeah, you've told me.
You've said that before.
Yeah.
That is wild that it left such an impression on you because it was weird. Because our brains didn't really understand like the artsiness of it. We were just like, this is interesting. I feel like I want to watch it now to see where I'd be at. It was kind of like weird, obviously, because it was like a new idea of... it wasn't Scarlett Johansson?
They had sex.
Playing her? Yeah. I mean, it's like phone sex, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like the best thing ever, but Yeah, you're right with the robot.
Yeah, with a robot. That's where you got me. You know?
Oh my God, that's so crazy. I totally forgot that happened. Oh my God. Okay. I'll have to remind Sean and see if he remembers. No, don't be sorry. I'm so glad you brought it up. I totally would have skipped right past that. That is hilarious. And now look at us. We're all on a podcast talking about the awkward moments.
Years later.
Oh my God. Okay. She was also in Yumi and Dupree, which I don't think I ever watched that movie, but I read the book. It's a sad one, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Okay. Anyway, she was also in 911, the show, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and a ton others. I actually texted her because her phone number was on IMDb, and I was like, I did. I was
just
like,
go for it.
I know. I was like, look, I'm sorry that this is weird, but I would love to talk to you about your time on Parks and Rec, you know. And she messaged back. She was like, and here's what she said. She said, "Hi, I just landed in Hawaii. She has a 10th anniversary trip. That's so nice. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. We're 3 hours behind LA." I think she probably thought I was in LA, but that's okay. I'm not. But I sent her questions.
But you can figure it out.
You'll figure it out. I did send her questions and she hasn't gotten back to me, but I really don't expect her to because she's in fucking Hawaii. So I would not be checking my phone or doing anything with that. So totally fine. I might reach out to her later if she's still into it, but if not, totally fine. She did great. I loved her irateness. She's like, what? And interrupting Amy Poehler too, or Leslie. I thought that was really funny. When are they going to be open again?
Yeah, I agree.
You guys, Claudia messaged me back and I felt like I really needed to have this in the episode for her because she was wonderful, and I can't even believe that she messaged me after Hawaii and remembered to. I did not expect that. So I'm going to read her text. Okay, she says, "I had auditioned many times for this show for Dorian Frankel. She liked me and kept bringing me back. I was super lucky because Allison Jones took over casting later on, and I don't go into that office as often. The town hall scene was pretty loose. They had us stand up and say our line. Then they had writers come up with new lines to try. We were all supposed to be upset, but asking some absurd question. Then they let us improvise, which was fun. Amy was great at staying in character and answering unexpected questions. I believed I improv'd a question about where she got her pantsuit." Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Then she goes on to say, "I'm a native Hoosier and watched every episode of Parks and Rec, so this was a treat. I don't watch a lot of TV and so usually go into filming with only a vague notion of the world we are in. But I was very invested in Parks and Rec from day one. Grateful to have been on such a good show." That's so cool. We are huge Parks and Rec fans too, so we're very invested as well. That's so cool because I feel like a lot of day players aren't always, like she said, as into the show. So I'm so glad that she was into the show. Also, she goes on to say that she wrote that she thinks that Amy had just had her second child, and she seems super tired and just focused. So that's really interesting to hear because we do know that she had Archie on her son Archie on the set, which we'll talk about a little later. But anyway, so yes, thank you, Claudia, for sending that in. That is so awesome. Okay, yay. Okay, this might be your favorite line. Is it about the kids?
Yes. Oh, I love this line because I deal with these parents all the time. It's like, what am I supposed to do with my kids all day? Keep them in my house where I live?
I live.
I can't. But
oh my God.
There's so many parents that are like that.
Oh, I have such exciting news for you.
Yes.
We got a voice memo from this actress. Oh my God. And she was so wonderful. Her name is Deborah Puette. Oh gosh, I always do this. I get a voice memo and then I don't ask how they actually pronounce their name. But her name is Deborah. And she also, on the commentary, Retta said that she was friends with her, which is interesting. I didn't get a chance to ask Deborah about it. But if she's listening, let me know, Deborah, if you're friends with Retta. Not for any purposes to get Retta on the podcast, even though that would be amazing. But I would just like to know if that was true.
Yeah.
But Deborah's been in a bunch of things. She's an actor, writer, director, and she was nominated for NBC's Universal Shortcuts Festival. And her movie Cash for Gold was what won the awards. And now she is doing a feature film of that very same movie. And that is so amazing. They're in post-production right now. So keep your eyes open for that. And please follow the Instagram. It's just called Cash for Gold. I'll tag her in our show notes and in our Instagram. And we definitely want to support indie artists and just like artists in general. So I think that's amazing. And I definitely wish her all the broken legs and luck in the world. I know I'm not supposed to say luck after I say broken legs, but I don't care because some people don't agree with the broken leg thing. So just covering my bases. And then I'll also tag her in the like her personal Instagram in there too, because she does say that she loves answering questions about The Office and Parks. So because I don't know if you found this, did you see the Office crossover that Deborah has?
No, but give me 2 seconds.
I'm about to blow your mind.
Does she have a name in Parks and Rec?
Yeah, she does, but I don't remember what it is.
Okay, hold on.
Like what her character name was. But I can just tell you.
Hold on. If I see her face, I might be able to tell you.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I'm trying to look up her face without looking up the. Okay.
Do you want me to just give you her name so you can Google it?
But then it might come up.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm Googling her line.
Okay.
See if that works.
I know. Maybe I can see. Like if it's Kathy on Parks and Rec is the name they gave her.
Okay. I love this game. Wait, that's definitely
when you type in her name, it doesn't come up.
Okay, what's her name? Deborah, and then spell the last name.
Puette.
Okay.
It comes up like if you scroll, but it's not like the first thing because she's done a ton of other stuff too.
I spelled her name wrong for sure. Poette.
Oh, Puette. Deborah, if you're listening to this,
Deborah.
This is hilarious.
Might be.
No, I love it.
Okay, hold on. All right, this might be difficult.
And you're phenomenal, Deborah, and we thank you so much. I also sent her a voice memo back because I was like, since you sent me a voice memo, I'm going to send you a voice memo. And I've never done that before, and I thought that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to say thank you.
How did you feel about it?
I felt good about it.
Repeat?
A repeat what?
You would do it again?
Oh, yeah, I would do it again, for sure. For sure. It just depends on if I have time, because a lot of times I'm like coordinating with all the different guest stars that messaged me. So I'm like, sometimes I don't have time to send a message back to each one. But yeah.
Fair.
Also, Deborah sent me a long voice memo, which was chock full of information, which I'm excited to share with you. So that's also why I did it too, because I was like, you spent a lot of time on that. So
yeah, she looks like she plays one of the waitresses.
Yes, that's right.
And for some reason, I think like I can see her talking to Andy.
Mm-hmm. Hotter.
Sauce on the side, or I send it back.
Yes!
The mafia guy.
Yeah!
She's the waitress in the mafia scene.
That was amazing. Oh my God, good job.
I watched that show way too fucking much. If you think I watch Parks too much, I watch The Office.
That's
way
so
too much.
amazing. Oh my God, that is so great. I'm so proud of you. Oh
Thanks.
My God.
That feels good.
Yeah, seriously, because I wouldn't have known that. I mean, I was like scrolling through and I was like, oh my God.
It took me to find a picture with her hair up because I couldn't tell with her hair down.
Okay. Yeah, her main picture, which is great, by the way, Deborah, on
it's
IMDb,
beautiful. Yeah.
is her hair's down. But yeah, so she played the waitress in Mafia when
so cool.
in the office when Michael orders the gabagool.
The gabagool.
Sauce on the side.
Well, I send it back.
Salad's on top. I send it back.
Yeah, Ivan says that to me all the time.
Experience. You said what?
Ivan says that to me all the time.
Oh my God.
He's like, creamer to this color, or I send it back. He's joking, but like it's a way we quote The Office.
That is amazing. But yeah, so I love that. So first, I'm gonna play I cut up her voice memos, she gave me one long voice memo and then I cut it up so we could kind of talk about it in between.
Okay.
But in the first one, I asked her about the audition and like how she got the role, like we always ask everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so here is what she said to that.
Hey, Holly. I hope this works. I'm just going to answer your questions one by one. So I actually didn't audition for that role that I played in Parks and Recreation. I had gone in previously to the casting director, Allison Jones, and I auditioned for something else. I can't remember exactly what, and I didn't get it. And then I think it was maybe the next episode, they just called and offered me that part. I think that's how it went. And I did read the line that we ended up that you ended up seeing was the line in the script exactly. However, we did many takes with all lines, and they ended up picking the one that was written, which was very much like my experience on The Office. In the episode that I was in there, same thing. We literally improv'd all day on that, and they ended up using the lines exactly as they'd been written in the first place. So that tells you how good the writers are.
Yay!
Beautiful.
So that's the first one. That was awesome. I also have to say, number one, that I did not give the guest stars much time at all to do this. So the fact that she got it in so fast was incredible, and I'm so grateful to her. And number two, I just have to say that it's amazing and such a great reminder to all my fellow actors that some casting directors are keeping you kind of in their piggy bank for other roles. If you just keep showing up and doing the work, like eventually you will be recognized, and they may call you in for something else. So just keep going, keep having fun with it, and then something might happen from it. So it gets really discouraging at times, but I think that was such an inspiring kind of, and we've heard that from many guest stars where it does depend on the casting director. Not every casting director is as great as it sounds like Dorian Frankel is and Allison Jones. But that was just a really wonderful inspiration to hear that from her. So, and then the second thing is, her second clip is about her time on set where she was, I asked her about working with the cast, and she said she couldn't quite remember where that town hall was, like maybe on a lot somewhere. So I'm thinking maybe it was either CBS Radford where, all the town hall stuff, or not town hall, city hall stuff is shot, but the town forum, I'm not really sure where exactly it was, but I would imagine that it would be on that lot. If she thinks it was on a lot, it was probably on that one. But I also about her wardrobe and improv, and she also says like she was awesome and read the question out loud of like some certain things that I asked her. So this is the second clip for that one. Also, this is a longer one, so just be prepared.
Okay.
Okay, number two. What was it like to have a scene with Amy Poehler, Nick Offerman, the other townspeople? Nick, I actually knew from Chicago, not well, but we ran in the same theater circles. And so when I saw him before shooting, we were connected about that. He's an amazing guy. Just, as you would imagine, if you follow him off screen, really friendly. Amy was really fun to play with. It didn't really interact much with the other townspeople because, you go in the room and you sit down and, I maybe talk to one person on the other side of me, but there's just a lot of work to do. So, it was fun to be in a room full of folks, and that the meetings in the rec center are so iconic, that there was a great vibe to it all. So it was fun, but I didn't get to know them very well. Amy and Nick, total pros, so fun to work with. Something specific I do remember, which doesn't always happen, is that the clothes I was wearing in that scene are my own clothes. So sometimes if you're, playing a regular person who's similar to you, in terms of what she might wear, the character might wear, they will ask you to bring some options. And so I brought a couple things from my wardrobe that I thought might work. And then the wardrobe department will, have you try on a few things or go through your stuff. And they ultimately decided to use the things that I brought. So that blouse and that sweater were both mine. Timing of it, gosh, I think we started in the morning and we were probably done inside of like 5 hours, which is pretty quick. That's sort of how I remember it. Okay, number 4. Did I get any specific direction, or was it more of let's shoot this line the best way we can in the end to tell us what you remember any improv moments? Okay, it was all improv. There was so much of it. So what happened was we first ran the scene probably a couple of times with the lines exactly as written. And then what I specifically remember from this shoot, which was different than any other shoot I've been on, is that they, the writer who was on the set at the time, and I can't remember who it was, I wish I could shout them out, he was regularly coming up to me with alt lines. So a new line written out for me to say. And I think probably the other day players got similar changes. I don't remember specifically, but then we would run it like that a couple of times. And then we got into a long period of just when it's your time to speak, throw something out. And we did a bunch of improv in that way, which was very fun. I mean, there's little that's as fun as being on a set where everyone is trying to make everyone else laugh, especially when people are good at that. So, you know, you mentioned, and I might get to this in another question, but you mentioned The Office and those bloopers. You know, there can be times when people are laughing when they're not supposed to be laughing. And while it's not great for the shoot, it's not great. It's not going to make it on TV. It does make for a really fun time. And I just remember that my time on Parks and Rec was really, really fun. I do remember knowing that it was going to be really funny. I was really glad that that was the part that I got because I think she's pretty iconic just because of the way parents around the world can relate to her. That meme comes up again and again and again and again. It was big during the pandemic when suddenly everyone had their kids at home. Anytime people have to have their kids at home, she comes roaring back, and I really love that. She's also been cited as like, there's they have a bunch of best of lists, the best townspeople in the history of Parks and Rec or whatever, and I'm always honored when she makes those lists, which she often does, and that is credit to the writers.
But that's so cool. Oh my gosh, about the memes and the best of list. I didn't even know they had a best of list, which I'm sure I should have, and I could totally imagine the memes being used, especially I do think that especially during the pandemic, everybody was like, wait, these kids are just going to stay in my house all of the time? And the way she performed it, too, was so well done. Mm-hmm. I mean, the writing truly is amazing. But, you know, it's all a teamwork thing because if she hadn't performed it so well, we wouldn't have related as much to it, too. Like her facial expression of what am I supposed to do? How could you
she's
possibly
appalled
think?
Almost.
Yeah. How could you possibly think that this would be acceptable? I have never done this before in my life. So that's awesome. And then she did talk about being in The Office. And so I asked her specifically, you guys. And so if you're not a fan of The Office, then be a fan of The Office. But if not, then just listen to this clip because it was just really interesting. So just a friendly reminder, she's in the Gabagool episode, or the Mafia episode is what it's actually called. And I asked her if she knew anybody from The Office when she went to Parks. So any of the crew or anything like that. So she'll answer that. But yeah, she did such a good job. And there was no way I was letting her go without asking her about being on The Office. And if you ever watch those bloopers, go watch the bloopers if you haven't seen them already, where they're all laughing. And also she does forget Andy's name in The Office. It's Ed Helms, by the way, Deborah. So I forgot to tell you that in our emails. But yes, you treated that really well. So, okay, here's what she said about this.
I was the waitress in The Office Mafia episode. That is correct.
Well, she said that is correct because, like I said, I literally had to ask her because I was like, wait, was that you? I was staring at both of her pictures from both the Office and her IMDb, and I was like, wait a second, I don't know. And I'm always so freaked out. Is she actually am I just going to make a fool of myself? But I'm so glad I asked. So anyway, just to preface that.
It's so weird because now I have two memeable, is that a word? Moments from two of, the best, most recent comedies in television history. And that makes me so happy. So did I see anyone from The Office on the Parks set, crew-wise? Oh gosh, I don't know. Crew-wise, I don't know. I don't think there was crossover in terms of the writers. If there was, I'm not aware of it. They were definitely different directors. Beyond that, in the crew, like things on television tend to move so fast that you don't get to know. Like you don't get to know the camera person, you don't get to know the assistant camera person. It all flies by. That day on set was bonkers because it was me alone in that scene with the three guys, with Steve Carell, Rain, and oh my God, if I can't think of Andy's name, you'll help me out. Sorry, actor who plays Andy. I do know who you are. You're fantastic. So it was me with them, and then one other guest actor who played the guy they think is a mafioso. So when you're a guest actor, it's so important that you not be the wrench that stops, that gets stuck in the spokes of the wheel. You have got to keep your wits about you. So when you see the bloopers from that episode, which landed on the blooper reel for season 6 and are fun to watch, it was great for them to crack up. Like, I loved when they couldn't get past my line. That made me so happy because it was funny. But I just couldn't break, because you can be fired. You know what I mean? The regulars, they have that kind of leeway. But when you're a guest actor, you have got to keep your wits about you, and you can never be the reason why a take is ruined. So if you watch those bloopers, I look extremely serious. It was only because I was just constantly telling myself, you cannot laugh, you cannot laugh, you cannot laugh. But despite how serious I look, I had an incredible time. And that's when I say that day was bonkers. It was bonkers because we shot the scene the way it was written several times, like I said, and then we all just started playing. And Rainn Wilson threw out some of the craziest stuff you can imagine. And, these guys are like at the top of their game. And I'm not a trained improviser. I've done some improv, but I would never wittingly go toe to toe with them. But in that situation, you don't have any choice. And it was fun because I felt like I completely held my own. None of our improv, not Rainn's, not anybody's, made it onto the final cut. That was all the scene exactly the way it was written, and it was brilliant. And it was, yes, thank you for saying I was profesh. It was hard to keep it together, and it was an absolute blast. I loved both my experiences on those sets. Thank you so much for your interest. I think I got everything there. And thanks for checking in. I hope this works for you guys. I hope the recording's okay.
It was okay. It was great. It was perfect. More than okay. It was so good. I am so grateful that she messaged back. And like I said, I didn't give her much time to do it. So I'm so gracious, beyond gracious that she did that for us.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So cool. And yeah, it was, I'm so glad she said that too. And I told her that. I'm so glad she said that about her being serious, because I remember watching the bloopers and thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this actor is like trying not to go too overboard with laughing with them. You know what I mean? And I totally get it. I totally get it, because you want to be professional. And like we've heard from so many guest stars, like you are not the star, kind of, you're there to move the story along, and you want to be good, but you also want to laugh, obviously. But like, you're also like, oh my God, these guys are professional. And by professional, I mean like they're way at the head of their game, like she said. So I think she did that so well. I also loved how like the straight man that she was to their crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we have that. What is that? When he says the gabagool line. Yeah. So good. Well, thank you, Deborah, for doing that for us. That was awesome. And please, everybody, go follow her movie Gold, or Cash for Gold, on Instagram. Again, I will tag it in the show notes and in the Instagram. So please follow her, and then also follow her personal account as well, which I will also link. But thank you, Deborah. And then was there anything else you were going to say, though, before I move on? Okay. Awesome. The next citizen that I have is this lady asking about the concert at Ramsett Park. And she says, or asking about Freddy Spaghetti. She's like, what about the concert at Ramset Park? And this gal's name is Deb Hiett. And I have another game for you to play.
Okay.
Because she was also in The Office.
Give me your name again.
Deb, Deb Hiett is her last name. And I totally thought she looked familiar, but I didn't really know who she was in The Office.
Was she in The Good Place too?
Maybe. I didn't find that in my research, but potentially. I can look it up. Let's see. Yeah, she was.
Heyo.
She was in 2 episodes of that.
Huh. I don't know if I'm going to get this one. The only person she looks like to me that it could be, but I don't necessarily think it is Pam's mom.
Oh, it could be.
The very first Pam's mom.
Yeah, it does. I could see that too.
Yeah.
I
Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to get this one.
Okay. Hint, it has to do with Canada when Michael goes on a business trip.
No way. She's the flight attendant?
Yes!
That's awesome.
Yes, she's the flight attendant that like tells everybody to keep moving.
And then
she
freaking
bumps
hit
Michael
us.
in the arm.
Yes, I love that part. Because they do that sometimes. Sometimes they are not fucking careful and it hurts.
I know. It was so funny though when Michael is like being all cocky though and then he gets hit in the arm. I'm like, well, if you were facing forward and not trying to be all like, fancy and telling us how fancy you are.
Right.
But yeah, so that is her. Like you said, she's been in The Good Place. She was also in Arrested Development, Scandal, documentary Now with Bill Hader, and also an episode of Barry with Bill Hader. And she just recently, Barry. Oh my gosh, me too. That new season came out. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited.
I can't watch it until all the episodes are out. I refuse.
Why?
I have to sit and watch. Because once I start Barry, because we started it in COVID and the both seasons were already out. And so we sat and watched 2 seasons in like 2 days.
Oh my God.
Like, I need to be prepared to sit and watch all 3.
Got it.
I'd like.
Is it not all out? Are they doing it like once a week?
They're doing it weekly. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. And then Deb Hiett was also on NCIS. She's also a writer, cool. And she has a new play that was performed. Oh, also, I wanted to say really quickly. I'm sorry, I forgot. But Deborah, our mafia lady and our kids lady line, she won an award, I believe. I talked about NBC Universal Shorts, and she didn't win. Sorry, she was nominated for Best Actor, Best Film, and Best Writing at this. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then anyway, so Deb Hiett, which got so confusing in my emails that there's a Deborah and a Deb. I was like, oh my God. And anyways, so, which was great though. It's all good. But Deb Hiett, aka the flight attendant, and this mom to this lady that wants to know about the Freddy Spaghetti thing. She's a writer and she had a new play that was performed in April. So last month called Circle Forward, April 4th. I wrote April 4, but the number 4 was on a different line and I was like, why did I write 4? But it's April 4th. Sorry. So last month is when this was performed and the play was called Circle Forward. And there's another play called Call Time that was a semifinalist in the Lanford Wilson New American Play Festival, which is so exciting. Good for her. That is a lot of work for both of these Debs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work and a huge undertaking. So I'm really proud of her. And her bio said that she's also a musician. So that's awesome too. Cool. Also, side note, festivals usually, I don't think a lot of people know this, but festivals for like if you're doing shorts or a play festival or whatever, they cost money to enter. So if you're like, entering in a bunch of festivals or whatever, you have to like really make sure that you're budgeting for that as part of your like production costs as well. So I think people think that they see all these awards on indie films and they're like, oh, that's so cool. That just happened. No, it didn't.
No. Yeah.
So
it's a whole
I just want to give that a shout out. But exciting news again is that Deb Hiett sent in a voice memo.
Yay.
And I'm very excited about that. So I'll play her voice memo. And again, I did not give these gals much time at all to send these in. So I'm so happy that their agents got them in touch with me, or I got in touch with them and they sent it over. And so this is Deb's voice memo. And thank you so much for sending that in. Okay, here we go.
Hi, Holly. Thank you so much for reaching out. I would love to tell you a little bit about my day on Parks and Recreation. It was fantastic. The whole experience, from the audition with Dorian and Marlize to being on set and working with Amy and Nick. And yes, I'm using their first names as if we're best friends, which we're not. It was one of those great experiences where you're working with nice, smart people who are just great at their jobs, and everyone's working together to be efficient and also have fun. I mean, I know you've heard similar things from the other actors you've talked to, and it really doesn't make for any juicy gossip or anything salacious, but wow, it's always wonderful when those jobs come along. I don't remember many specifics about the audition because I think when you audition a lot, you develop a system for kind of forgetting the details because so often you don't get the job. That's just how this business works. But I have had the pleasure of auditioning for Dorian and Marlize several times, and they always make it as pleasant and easygoing as is possible to make it. You always get the feeling they are really genuinely rooting for you to do well. Just, more great, smart, enthusiastic people. So that's always wonderful. Then to get on set, it was so fun to be part of that town hall meeting scene. I was always a fan of the show, and I loved those scenes anyway, because it's just full of great characters and great little moments. But then to know that I was going to be asking the question about Freddy Spaghetti, I mean, it's always great when you realize that they can't cut your scene completely. And with the name of the episode being Freddy Spaghetti, I mean, I figured that was a win for me right there. So I was happy about that. Wardrobe was easy. They were great to work with, but it was easy because I actually have a bunch of, quote, Midwestern mom type clothes. So they actually ended up using my denim jacket that I had worn during the audition. So it was especially comfortable to sit around in that day. So that was nice. I didn't have any other scenes with the young actor who was playing my son, but I remember he was very sweet. I do remember the director telling him over and over not to look at the camera. And in the take they used, you can see that he keeps looking right at the camera. But honestly, it's very funny, especially since he's chewing this enormous piece of gum, this big white glob of gum. And it's just like his character could not be less interested in whatever mom's talking about. And that my character is so invested in Freddy Spaghetti, but the kid is like, meh, it's just funny. And we shot the scene as written a few times from a few different angles, as they do. And then they said, okay, we have a little time left. So if any of the principal actors in the crowd who had lines earlier wants to improv a question in character, let's just see how it goes. So the director yelled action, and people, asked a few questions, but I think I raised my hand and asked about the manholes, if they were fixing or maybe I asked about the speed humps. I don't know, just because those are funny words. And so that was hilarious. And I thought, oh my God, I'm improvising with Amy freaking Poehler. Because of course, Nick's character couldn't have cared less about anyone's questions. So it was super fun. And just to have that freedom, toward the end of the day was just the best. And I had a similar experience like that shooting The Office. I was lucky enough to play Beth, the flight attendant, in a season 5 episode called Business Trip. And my character had had a few interactions with Michael and Andy Bernard and Oscar, and we had shot everything as written, and it was another one of those sets that is very efficient, but very amiable and very easygoing, and everyone's rooting for each other and everyone's having fun. And it really lends itself, an environment like that lends itself to your best creativity and inspiration. And also when you come into these sets that have been going for years, really, and you're there for a day or two or something, it's really lovely to be to be validated as a comedic actor and given, a few minutes just for the free range of it. And it's so much fun. That's why we got into this in the first place. So we were able to shoot the scenes as written and then use the time they had left to improvise a little bit. And after I hit Michael with the drink cart in the head, I think I was offering the other passengers drinks and charging them like $72.50 for each drink or something. Just silly. And you never know if it's going to make the cut, if they're going to have time. But boy, it's a fun day of work, and it's always hard to leave the set like that because you just want to come back the next day. I have been really, really lucky in my career so far to work with some fantastic comedy talent, but for sure, my Parks and Rec shoot and my office scenes will always be up there with my absolute favorites. Thank you so much for reaching out.
Yay! That was so
that was a lot
awesome.
of information.
Yeah, so much information. I love what you said about the wardrobe because that's so true. That's what you do as a guest star or as an extra, especially because I've been an extra a couple times, and you just bring like a huge suitcase. Like extras know what they're doing now, where they you have like the character outfits or whatever, and a lot of people have this for like their auditions as well. They like know what to pull out when they get like what she said, like a Midwestern mom situation.
Yep.
That was awesome. And I also love what she said about being on The Office, and that she I like that she was talking about how did she say the word bonked? I really liked that. She said I bonked him on the head or something. I thought that was so funny. But yeah, I did also I asked her about the kid, but I didn't really ask for like specifics on it. So I'm so happy that she gave us that information about him looking at the camera and how he had this huge piece of gum, and what a great take on like, that's so true. Like that's one of those things that like, it just worked out because there are technically cameras in the show. So like, even if you looked right at the camera, that's what a kid would do anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really loved that. So thank you, Deb, for sending that in. I'll tag you as well. And I will also post in the show notes the link to your website so people can check out your play if they're in California. That's so cool. I love that. So anyway, yeah, I'm just like really grateful to them. I can't stop thinking about it too, because I mean, those were long voice memos, and they were also given within a day or two. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So thank you both, Deborah and Deb. You guys were amazing. I loved you guys' performances. And so true. She was just like, this last one, Deb was like, her character was just so sad. Like, what about the Freddy Spaghetti concert? And the kid like doesn't care. So that's true. I like that perspective. But anyway, okay. So now I'm at Chris's office, and he's telling some poor worker that he doesn't like the color on the graph because it's too depressing. And then he also orders his water in that specific way.
First time we see it.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we talked about last episode, where that was one of the first character ideas that the writers had for him.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to put it in. I had flashbacks of being a server, and I would be like really mad if Chris ordered this like this in this way to me as a server.
Yeah. It sounds very condescending.
Yeah, it does. And I know that's not what he means, but I'm just like, can you just take it regularly?
Yeah.
but
Let's
but
take
that's
a step back.
Right, step back. But that's what his character is. Like, he would need to, and Mike Schur made a joke about it, like he would need to tell someone that it needs to be in a cup without a handle. Like, it just needs to be in a glass. Oh my God. And then everybody on the commentary was also saying that Rob Lowe is all angles and blue eyes and dimples because they were talking about how Ron has cute dimples when he smiles. Rashida said that. And then they got into talking about it changed scenes, and it got to Rob Lowe, and they were like, oh, that guy. So beautiful.
He's so great.
He is.
I love that she still wants to like, which this is what I hate, because the Chris doesn't say I need to check with Ben.
Okay.
Right?
I can hear your mic moving. I'm so sorry.
You can hear it moving? Oh, sorry. I had to move it when Fenway got on my lap.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fenway.
Yeah, he had surgery on Tuesday, so he's in a little bit of a pain. So he's just
my God. Sorry, Fenway.
He just needs extra cuddles, so that's why
definitely.
I was letting him up here.
Yeah, of course. He can come up there.
Yeah. But I'm trying to move it back now.
The mic like here instead of here. You know what I mean? Because I can like hear it a little bit better.
I'm not like touching the mic when I do it, but because the mic's down here. But I mean, I can leave it here. I don't care.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, so she comes in and she's like, I want to have this concert because this is dumb that we can't do this for the kids. And Chris doesn't say anything like, well, let me check with Ben first. He straight up is like, okay, let's do it.
Fix it.
Right. And that pisses me off because now it feels like has her answer. Mm-hmm. And then when Ben comes back in, it's like, no, we can't do that. Like, I know. I never liked their teamwork here.
Yeah.
Like, Chris, it pisses me off because Chris doesn't like doing the hard parts. And I'm with him. Like, I 100% am with him. I was 100% always a Chris until I got into a job where I was like, nothing's going to change if I don't do the hard parts. Mm-hmm. And so now it's like, it's hard for me to watch and then him to do this to Leslie. But I also love that she's like, I'm just going to keep presenting to you anyway because I prepped for it.
I worked really hard on it.
Yeah, I worked really hard.
I found in this episode that Chris really thinks he is making a difference / changing, or at least in my experience, in my perspective when I was watching it. I was like, oh, because in the first episode I thought he was just like sugarcoating things because he knew that he would have to break it down or whatever. But I think that his whole character is like, I can change it. We can change it. Like, we can just do it. It doesn't even matter. It's not that bad. Like, whatever. Like, he really believes that it will move forward if he does this. And he doesn't even think about how Ben's going to say no.
But my issue with it is he doesn't go back to Ben and say, well, here are the options that Leslie and I have discussed.
Right.
And this is how we think we can make it work. He doesn't
totally
do that.
He
Immediately
doesn't feel like he needs to.
Yeah. Immediately when Ben says no, Chris goes, oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the part that frustrates me because I agree with you. I think if he really did have the mindset of, I really think I can fix it, then cool. But fucking fix it.
Right. Yeah. I love Ben's talking head here. The government's been shut down for 2 days and one city employee has tried to schedule 14 meetings with me. Can you guess who?
It's so well acted. And we're getting to see more of a playful side of Ben again. We got a little peek of it in the last episode when they go out for beers, but this is, I like it. Now we're seeing it at the office.
Right. Oh, and that was another thing I was going to say in my recap. I wanted to mention that Woomph There It Is by a band called Tag Team, just FYI, because we didn't talk about it. It's kind of a one-hit wonder situation. And I don't really see, it was in a ton of TV shows and cultural phenomenon and movies and films in our kind of culture as a society. We just know that song, like basketball games or any sporting events kind of thing. But I just wanted to give Tag Team a shout out because 1993 was when that came out and it's still being talked about to this day. So
yes, beautiful, amazing.
Anyway, I had to talk about that. You reminded me when they went out for beers, they talked about that.
Right.
I also love that Chris opens his shirt at he's Superman and Batman because he has a running shirt underneath.
Why is he wearing his running stuff underneath is my question. I would feel so uncomfortable going to work with my sports bra on underneath.
I do that sometimes actually.
Okay.
Because I have to work out right after. And I have to go straight there. And so I don't want to change at the gym. So I do that sometimes.
Okay. That's fair. I haven't done it. So it's nice to hear from a different perspective that that somebody does
Chris,
it.
though, running 10 miles. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
That's also probably 11. Unhealthy for someone who can even do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only time I've ever run that far was when I was training for the triathlon. And it was very specific. It was not, I want to go for 11 miles. It was in the training manual, you will run 11 miles on this day.
Right.
So that when you do the triathlon, 3 miles doesn't seem that bad.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. That's not fun to me.
And he's running so fast.
I know. He books it. I'm like, there's no way you maintain that for 10 miles.
I know. It's so hilarious that the audience is supposed to believe that he's going to run, in the reality of the show, that's the way he runs the entire 10 miles.
Right. Oh my gosh. I do have some math here because I was interested. He said he's run 65,000 miles is what he says. That's a third of the way to the sun, or the moon. And he wants to run all the way to the moon. Actually, the math is 65,000 miles is 3 times that is 195,000. Okay? Because a third. And we are actually 238,855 miles from the moon. Oh. So his math was off. Or he was just trying to generalize, but I did want to know.
Yeah. So wait, so how far away are we from the moon again?
238,855 miles.
Okay. Wow. Okay, good to know. And then he says that it only needs to be how many miles?
He's 65. He's at 65, and he quotes, "That's a third of the way to the moon." But if that were accurate, it would be 195.
Oh,
so he's almost 100,000 miles off.
Okay, gotcha. And then Andy in the office is the one that knows all the distances to the sun, right? Like when Gabe is interviewing him. Is it the sun or the moon? I think it's the sun.
No, he knows a lot of that. Stop talking about the freaking sun, man.
Oh my God, so funny. All right, well, that's good, man.
Or is it when he interviews Dwight?
No, it's when Gabe is
Andy.
interviewing Andy for the manager position.
Yeah.
And he Andy somehow randomly knows that question when Gabe was trying to throw him off.
That's right.
And then he goes into his car and he's like, "I did not like the outcome of that interview."
Yeah.
Stop talking about the sun. Oh my God, so good. So this next part is a gut punch because Ben says that Pawnee isn't special. I really was so sad and so angry. He was like, "No, your town isn't angry." Yeah, I know. He does later, but he's like, "Your town, Pawnee isn't special." It was so sad.
Yeah.
And then it says that she's non-essential, and it's so funny.
I know your badge says it. Yeah. You can't determine that. I know. Your badge says it.
And then it's so funny when she's like, "What? This isn't me." And then Ben looks to camera, and I thought it was really interesting actually because that the Ben look to camera is very similar to the Jim look to camera, although different, obviously, because different characters. But I was like, oh, he auditioned for Jim, so he still got his look to camera moment.
He did, yep, and he does it several times throughout the series.
Right. I also think that it's really interesting because so you'll see it at the end, but the joke was on the commentary they mentioned that at the beginning, I'll zoom into it, but and take a picture and post it on our stories. But the picture on her badge is really awful. She has her eyes closed, and it's just she's not even there, and present on that day. And then, but she's smiling, so she just blinked, and it was a bad picture. But then, when she turns to essential at the end, she takes a better picture, and she's really there. And I thought that was so interesting and detailed.
That is interesting.
Yeah. And then she has this line about Idaho, which was wild.
Well, Pawnee is better than Idaho.
Right. I like the idea that she has to say it multiple times because she was like, "I've said it before and I'll say it again." And it's interesting that Mike Schur on the commentary said that the team, well, not on the commentary, but I think I had found this, that him and the writing team had researched that Idaho, when the global recession was happening, that was one of the places that had to really shut down and do some reworking. So that was based on some real facts.
You mentioned that in Master Plan Part 1, actually.
Oh yeah. Did I mention it? Idaho? I don't
you
even
mentioned
remember
Idaho.
Oh,
Idaho's
okay,
Parks Department or the National Park Service from Idaho.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, we're just getting that even more drilled down, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And then so now I'm at where Chris comes to find Ann Perkins, and Ann is like, "Chris something," because she's like, "Ann Perkins, Chris something."
Yeah. Which he says she's like, "Oh, you're not even sweating," and he's like, "Yeah, I have a resting heart rate." It's actually, and I'm pretty sure I'm right on this because I started sweating extra when I was working out more. And it's actually your body, when you start moving a lot, sweats earlier the better shape you're in, because your brain is already triggered to know that you're working out.
Interesting.
And it's preparing to cool you down.
Right.
So that's I read that in an article in Women's Health in 2010 or 11.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So I don't know why I feel the reason to fact check everything that happens in this.
Well, it's very,
show,
I like the fact checking. And it's also, it is a very factual thing that it sounds like he's saying. So it's interesting to know what actually is the reality, of our human world as opposed to the parks world, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I would also be very concerned if someone's heart rate was resting at 28 beats per minute. That's what he says, right?
Yeah.
Is it
28 beats per minute.
Yeah. That's scary.
Why?
That's really, really
it's
slow.
Low?
Do you want to hear what it would be?
Yeah.
I got you. My metronome doesn't even go that low. So here's 30. I think the average, like a healthy heart, is like 50, 55 or something like that.
Yeah. I wonder if we need to look that up too about the turtles, because doesn't he say that too? That it's like resting heart rate. Or no, wait, he doesn't say that. Somebody else says that. I heard that somewhere. Like turtles have really low heart rates or something like that. And that's why they live so long.
Interesting. 25 beats per minute is the normal heart rate of a turtle.
Yeah. I don't know where I heard that. I don't know why I know that.
I don't know either. That's weird. Hilarious. Healthy resting, normal resting, healthy heart rate for a human is 60 to 100.
Interesting. Okay. So. Yeah. So, but I think having low ones makes it seem like you could, live longer. I don't know.
Yeah, your heart's not working as fast. I think if you have a resting heart rate of 100, that's a little extreme. I'm usually sitting at about 63.
Gotcha. I need to know what mine is. My heart rate's been high lately, which is all the high blood pressure stuff. Mm-hmm. But anyway, then we learned that the doctors say that, or scientists have studied him, and they say he could pump jet fuel up into an airplane, which
inaccurate.
That doesn't make sense to me. Okay, because regardless of like the science of if that could happen or whatever, but like it sounds like the airplane is already up there, and then how would they get the jet fuel to the airplane? Is my question.
Right.
Is there like a tube or something?
Yeah, great question.
Sorry to fact check this, Chris. I know it's supposed to be funny. And it is hilarious.
It's
hilarious. Just fascinating to me.
Because it's like, why? That makes no sense.
Yeah, and he says it so factually and so fast, and he's like, this is real.
This is real.
But anyway, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say he asks, I just do love how persistent he is and how logical, direct he is. Like, I think you could find me attractive because you got drunk and kissed me. Mm-hmm. And then
but he gives her space.
Yeah, he gives her space. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's persistent, but he also is like, okay, I'll try again later. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. They were joking on the commentary that Amy Poehler says she likes when she sees Anne at work. And Rashida was like, yeah, because it reminds you that she actually works. And so we're not the only ones that think that.
Yeah. Valid. I have a thought about that later in the episode too.
Okay. Anyway, I was just thinking with that airplane thing that maybe it would make more sense if his heart could power the airplane itself, like electricity kind of thing. But I don't get the jet fuel thing. But regardless, it was funny. It was a funny line when it happened, but you can't dive too deep into these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And then our favorite nurse of Anne's, Paula, is her name, comes back, and she's like, that's the guy that you don't want to go out with? Like, what part are you not looking at? I love her delivery. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you want to go out with him? But friendly reminder, her name is Nicole Pettis. She's worked a ton. She was also in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is cool. But we last saw her on the Halloween episode, a.k.a. the Pocahontas episode, where her and the other nurse try to get Mark to go home with them. And at that time, so you want to get out of here was their lines, which was so funny. And Mark looks to camera. I'll never forget that. What a good moment.
So good.
Okay, so the first voice memo that she sent in was about her audition, and like we ask everybody about their audition. So here is what she said to that, and thank you for sending it in.
Hello, this is Nicole Pettis. I just want to say thanks for having me. I'm going to just go through your list of questions, and if anything pops up in my head, I'm just going to say it, just wing it. So looking at your first question, I think you asked me, do I remember anything about the audition? And I will say, not really. It was so long ago. But I think at the time, I was excited in general to get anything comedy related because all I've ever wanted to do my entire life was make people laugh. I was the goofball of my family. I always liked cheering people up. So I love making people laugh. Now, the funny thing about Hollywood in general your previous work kind of dictates your future work. So whatever you were doing before is pretty much what you get called in to do all the time. So I remember thinking, I just want to be funny. And I would get auditions for like, right now you're going to be a soldier in a war. Like, okay, I'll be a soldier. Is it a funny role? No, it's not. Okay, that's fine. So I think I was generally excited when I saw Parks and Rec because I saw comedy and I thought, this is awesome. I get to play and I get to have fun and do something a little lighter and hopefully make people laugh. So that's what I think I remember most about it, is that excitement of, oh goodness, I hope I get to be on a sitcom one day. And that's kind of like, what fell into my lap.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. And so great that she got her dream of being on a sitcom, and well, mostly for us also, and for her too, of course, because she's so great and we got to see that and she got to have her dream. So here is the second question.
So do I remember being on set when Rob Lowe's character was asking Anne out? And I do. We were kind of off camera, obviously, while Anne was on, and Rob was supposed to jog into frame. And first of all, I remember being off camera. He was going in first, I was going in second. And I thought, I cannot believe this is my life. Like, I cannot believe that I get to watch these super duper high power workers in this town do what they do so well. And I remember just admiring how seriously Rob took it. Like, I didn't interact with him much, and make small talk or anything like that. Kind of, especially when you're starting out, your whole point is basically to go in there, be professional, do your job, don't bug a ton of people, so to speak, and just kind of roll out. That's kind of how you do it. So you also don't know how people prepare, so you want to be cognizant of that. But I remember thinking, like, he's already in game mode well before he's on camera. And I just remember admiring, like, I cannot believe that I get to witness this type of excellence, really. And I was definitely one of those actors who was like, never one of those, can we take a picture on set? Like, I wasn't one of those people typically, even though it was great for promotion and things like that. So it wasn't like I said, hey, after this, can we take a pic? But I just remember thinking to myself, like, I'm just glad that I get to say that I was that I had the honor and pleasure of working with such cool people and watching them do what they do best. So that's what I would say. That's what I remember most, is him prepping to walk into that scene and how seriously he took it, and thinking to myself, like, that's the kind of actor I want to be. And repeatedly, because you do it more than once, right? Like, you're not just going to do one take and move on. Repeatedly, I saw us go back to one, which means you go back to your first position for the scene and start all over again. And I just remember thinking, like clockwork, every single time you see him reset in that level of professionalism, no matter what was going on in the take before it. And I just remember thinking, yeah, like, I want to be that kind of person. I want to be that disciplined in my craft to still have fun, still make it fresh every time, still make it, because improv is a big thing on that set, obviously. So every take is not the same, but just thinking, I want to be able to do that. Like, I want to be able to do this and enjoy myself as well. So that's what I remember thinking about that particular scene.
That is amazing to hear about Rob Lowe, because he's been in the business for so many years. So I feel like it could be really easy to get like complacent or whatever, but so cool to hear that he is a professional all of the time and very Chris Traeger-like, it sounds like. Okay, so I asked her about the Greg Puette episode and how that all came together and what her memories were. So that's this one.
This was a fun one, man. Oh my gosh. I think I just remember once again having a pinch me moment. If I remember correctly, it was an overnight shoot. And it was on a lot. It wasn't in a house. It looked like a house, but it was, the sets are amazing. That's why we have these incredible people who can build all these wonderful home-like looking sets, but it was not a house. And I remember thinking, like, okay, it's a Halloween episode. And when I got the script, I just remember laughing because I thought, okay, my character, Paula, who I wanted to make like, slightly cynical, slightly like not overt in your face, but just blunt. I just wanted her to be blunt, And the fact that she just didn't dress up for Halloween and she came in her nurse's uniform, like, that's going to be good enough, was just hilarious. I just was like, okay, we just going to come straight from the hospital looking like this is the best you're going to get. Deal with it. And I just remember having fun. we were, there was a lot of improv in that scene. And the one thing that I do remember is Dean Holland, who, come on, is a genius. They all are, because they're fearless in their direction and they have fun and they're not afraid to try different things that are off script, which as an actor, you absolutely love, because you get to be so creative. And he had me try hitting on the character Mark, which was not scripted whatsoever. And he's like, just kind of hit on him, say this at the end of the scene. And so I do it, and it's just hilarious, and it's stuck. And that's one of the takes that they used. And I just thinking to myself, like, he's a genius. Like, he's just good at this, and that's why he is who he is. But I remember Mark thinking, like, wait, what? And of course he went with it, because we took the scene stuck, and that's the one that made it. But I just remember laughing to myself, like, I can't imagine what it's like to work on this show every day, just to have that level of play and to have that level of spontaneity. You don't get that a lot of times with drama, especially because, the words have to hit a certain way. Whereas with comedy, you do kind of get more leeway, in my opinion. So I remember that vividly and thinking this is a really good time for me, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
That is incredible and makes me love Dean Holland even more. And just all the directors are phenomenal, but also like teamwork, because she did so incredibly with the things that were just given to her on that day. I love that. And we talk about it all the time when I get out of here. But anyway, so this is what she is now thinking for the next director of Freddy Spaghetti.
Yes. So the director for Freddy Spaghetti was Jason, and also incredible. Really funny, gives great direction. Also off the cuff with the humor and the buttons, if I remember correctly. And then what's so cool about him is he just kind of lets you go. Like I could tell that he kind of just sees what comes naturally in a scene, which I enjoyed watching, because sometimes things would land and sometimes they wouldn't. But I don't think he was worried at all. I think he threw some ideas out there and we all went with it, and the scenes turned out great. The one that I was in, I really enjoyed working with him, and I had the pleasure of working with him again. So years later, because, dude, I'm telling you, it's a small town. People think Hollywood is huge, but it's really a small town. I got to work with him. We did 6 episodes for MailChimp. They were going to have a streaming service. So we did a 6-episode series called The Trade Show Show. And it was about all these folks that get to do or come to trade shows trying to basically make it big. And again, he is so good. I mean, it turned out excellent. So Jason will forever be, because I've seen him now in 2 different projects and got to work with him personally. He will always be one of my favorites, like always one of my favorites. If he ever comes a call-in, I am definitely down, because the guy makes some funny stuff. So yeah, I'm glad I got the chance to meet him years ago and then get to work with him again recently. It was pretty cool.
That is so wild that MailChimp had a streaming service. I guess everybody was trying to do the streaming service thing at the time, / probably kind of still is. But yeah, that's so cool. I would have loved to see those 6 episodes. I'm sorry that it didn't get out into the world, but I'm glad that she got to work with Jason Woliner again, and hopefully we can get them both on the podcast one day, or just Jason or just Nicole or whatever. We can have a little reunion moment, but regardless, that is so cool. And thank you so much for sending those. That's awesome. You were great. Love it so much.
So thank you to Nicole for messaging and sending things in regardless. And for just messaging me back. So anyway, I love her performance. And she also comes back, I feel, in another episode, but I can't remember. So regardless.
Very possible. We did go back to the hotel.
You mean the hospital?
Yeah, I don't know why I said hotel.
I've been doing that all week. It's all good.
Yeah, the brain.
Yeah. The brain. Fickle thing. I do get why Anne doesn't want to date him right now. It makes total sense that she's hesitant.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%.
She's being really super self-aware, and like, I mean, she could just have fun with him, I guess, but I think that she knows that she's going to get tied up.
I think she sees him as having more potential than that. You know, whereas later on in later seasons, I know exactly what episode it is, the fight. She's with the douche.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. And
because
she's
in that space, where I'm just having fun. I know this isn't a serious thing. It's like she knows that Chris is a boyfriend that's worth spending time on. He's like a guy that she would actually date, and so that's, I think, why she doesn't want to jump into it.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that she's just like still messed up with Andy and Mark, because she's like, this is just not going to work right now. I'm not into it, not feeling it. You know what I mean? But could be both. So apparently there was a joke they took out. They didn't say what the joke was, but it was really great because Mike Schur said that it was more of the writing than the performance, which was nice of him to say. Like, Anne was like, wait, that got cut? And Mike Schur was just like, no, really, I mean, it wasn't that funny of a joke. And I thought that was really interesting because they always talk about how the best thing for the show and how funny always wins. So there's no like hard feelings. It's just like, was it funny or not? And I think that's great to hear and be reminded of.
Yeah, I think you need that.
Definitely. Okay, so this is the sad moment.
I have to tell you that Mark Brandanowitz is one of my favorite lines in this entire show, and I don't know why.
It's the best.
But there's something about it.
It's so good.
It's great. That and when Andy's running through the hallways and he goes, Mark Brandanowitz.
Yes, and goes
those are two
doors.
of my favorite things. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's something about his last name that just I find hilarious.
Absolutely. When Tom says Brandanowitz, I have that stuck in my head all the time. I don't know why, but it's just like that cute little sting jingle. Love it.
Yeah.
Pour one out for Mark. It's so sad. We find out that he accepted a buyout and he now works for Norton Construction, which, by the way, is the same construction company that did contracting for the government that sent them that gift basket that Leslie gets in trouble for.
I did not clock that. Nice job.
Crazy, right? And that April drank that wine. And so that was an awesome detail. But yes, I guess I've been pronouncing your name wrong. Mark Brandanowitz.
It's so good.
Oh my God.
I have to just relate with Mark here really, really quickly. Not necessarily that I am Mark, but that I understand where he's coming from. Because he says not everybody has the passion and the enthusiasm for the work that you do. And I think that's so accurate. I think there are clumps of jobs, and behavioral health is 100% one of them, where if you're not passionate about it, you got to get out. Because A, the burnout, B, this is true of government and behavioral health, it doesn't pay well enough for you to not love it. You know, like it's got to be fulfilling you in some way.
Yeah.
And we've known this entire time that this doesn't fulfill Mark. Right. So I think he saw it as she feels betrayed, but he sees it as I have the opportunity to go do something that I'm actually going to enjoy doing.
Well, and he's doing the same thing, but like getting paid more. And, you know, I know it was like everyone thinks that he's a sellout or whatever, or Leslie thinks that he's a sellout. But I mean, I definitely, especially with his talking head, it's so good. And like just talking about all the shit that he like had that went on, the literal shit of the pigeon that was on shit on him. His performance of that talking head, by the way, was so good. I love it. But yeah, I agree with you. I kind of relate to him as well, like that character, why he would want to leave.
Right. I also love that he bonded with you on the pigeons there.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God. It's so good.
And I was inside.
Yeah, and I was inside. So it's so good. Also,
so well delivered.
It's so well delivered. Also, did you notice that those pigeons are black? They're not the usual gray. And I was like, this is like...
I have that noted.
Yeah.
They're darker than usual. Like, is that a lighting thing or are they different birds?
I think they're different birds. I think they're different birds. That's what I'm going to say. I'm sticking to it. Maybe it's not, but I think they are. And it's like a dark, evil pigeon almost. Or like mourning for his departure. You know what I mean? Like with the black. I got all symbolism-y, but I mean...
Yeah. I love it.
Coincidence? Maybe
get analytical.
But it's so sad. This was definitely the Eeyore Mark, our guy.
Just had to get out of there. Mike Schur and Amy Poehler in the commentary both said such good things about Mark and Paul Schneider. Mike Schur said it was great acting in this scene. His character was like, I should have known that Leslie was going to knock all these things out of my hands. You know what I mean? Yeah, because he kind of pauses and stares at her. And Amy Poehler, on the commentary was like, yes, the great Paul Schneider. And so I love that. And then Retta also said that her brother texted her and said that Brandana Quits was also his favorite line. So that was interesting to me. And I think everybody loves it. So
I love it.
So I love that you love
awesome.
it too.
I'm not alone.
No, you are not. Never. You are not alone. MJ. Anyway. Okay. Shouldn't talk about him. Anyways.
Moving on.
So then we see we're at Tom's house / apartment.
Those are his fucking sexy PJs,
sexy
Holly.
pajamas.
I don't know if I just like a rugged dude, but like sexy PJs to me are like boxers or briefs, man.
Interesting.
Why are you wearing the rest of the shit?
Oh.
I don't need the silky,
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't need.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't need whatever this flannel.
Well, see, to me it looks silky.
Or silky. Yeah, whatever. But it's a full ensemble.
Right.
Like now I have to unbutton your shirt.
Oh, he's got it unbuttoned.
And take pants off. I know. I think it's because they were in the middle of things.
They were about to get started.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, oh, Tom. And Leslie trying to give him advice. I was like,
are
this
using
is
protection.
Awkward.
So funny.
Yeah.
Amy Poehler on the commentary was like, Aziz was pretty hairy in that one, weren't you? Also, it was great because on the commentary, Aziz also said that he improvised a line about Boyz II Men being on, like in one of the takes. And then
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so Mike Schur was like, oh my gosh, we gotta option that song. We gotta clear that song. And so that's really interesting to me that they did that. That was an Aziz line, and the song is called Bended Knee, if anyone was curious. Okay. Also, can you help me understand, and maybe any guys can, if you don't know, can help me, but why are you taking 4 Benadryls? Like, I don't get it. Like, you're going to pass out before you even take your pants off, homie.
I also don't know.
I don't get the dulling your sensitivity, because don't you want to feel the pleasure? Does it hurt you? I don't get it.
Maybe he's trying not to finish as fast,
Maybe. This is where we need the dick breaks.
I know, but then I would want to go back, because now that's what I'm thinking happened, and I can't picture his face when Leslie tells him not to make it last too long. So what if he took the Benadryl so that it would last longer, and then Leslie's like, girls don't like it when it lasts long, and then he's like, fuck.
They're like, oops. Oh my God. That is so funny. What a nice little story and weird story that we're creating. I love it.
Yeah. I love it too. Keep it going.
Oh my God. Well, so now Leslie is with Anne at the hospital, and they show
Anne time.
Yes, little Anne time. They do show an exterior shot of the Pawnee Medical Center, and friendly reminder that that's at a hospital in Burbank, LA, Los Angeles, called Providence St. Joseph. And side note, I've been there. I think I might have mentioned this when they showed this hospital before. I had like a really awful eye infection one time when I left my contacts in. I can't remember if I told you that. But it was so bad, and my dad was in town, and I like slept with my contacts in for like not very long at all. And then I woke up in the middle, or not the middle of the night. It was probably like, I don't know, 11 maybe, because I think I'd fallen asleep by like 10. So it was, I think I was only asleep for like an hour, and then I woke up and I was like, oh shit, I gotta like take out my contacts. And it turned out that there was like little open wounds all over the front of my eye, and they had to like give me medicine and stuff, and I like couldn't open my eyes. I had to go to the emergency room. It was awful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I know, it is insane. So that's why to this day I only wear daily contacts if I wear them. I very rarely ever wear contacts anymore. Like unless a show like specifically wants me to, like I really only go out for roles where they'd accept me with glasses.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Awful. Yeah. But anyway,
fair.
so that was that hospital, Providence St. Joseph. And then I also had to be sent to an actual eye doctor, not optometrist, but ophthalmologist. And they're the ones that actually fixed it. The ER people were just like, here's some numbing shit. You know what I mean? So
cool.
Like, that doesn't solve my problem, but thank you. I'll get through the night, I guess, without it.
Yeah. ERs are useless.
Oh, it's a lot. It's expensive. But anyway, the whole inside hospital set is on this stage at CBS Radford. They were really talking about that and saying that was wonderful. It's massive, huge. I thought that was so cool to me because they also have a huge City Hall set. So all of that is, studios, which is nuts. I mean, it looks so good. So props to the art department, which Amy Poehler also said on the commentary. Like, totally, the art department made this look so good.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I love this. Is this one she says? I don't think so. Yes.
What?
Is this one she says, I call Leslie and oftentimes she's already on her way over?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I couldn't remember if that was later for some reason. Anyway.
Yeah.
This literally, I have a line written that I was like, I wish we lived in the same city like this because I feel like we would do this.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of like the crappiest things about not living in the same state is like we don't go days without talking like now, but I mean we'll go like 24 or 48 hours.
I mean, we have
like
gone days without talking though. There's just like too much going on, you know what I mean? Like,
and it's fair.
It is
and
fair.
We're understanding of each other, but at the same time, like we do a really good job keeping in touch for the fact that we live so far away from each other. But like there are times where I'm like, I would do all of this with Holly if she was here.
I know.
Like, this is what I would want to do with Holly if she was here.
Like, it would be nice if we could just, like, hey, schedule a time to go get a drink or something.
Yeah. Like, and I feel like we would do it all the time. And I feel like I don't spend a lot of time with girlfriends here. And I love the friends that I do have here, but there are times where I'm like, I really just would love to go to the meadery with Holly.
Oh, I'm going to go to the meadery.
That's what I want to do.
I want to do that.
Yeah, we should go when you come.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
Make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the meadery.
Well, and I'll say, like, even people that I live in the same state with, I don't talk to every day. It just depends.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think, it's not necessarily that. It's like...
I know what you're saying.
Like
being able to meet up, we would, like, hang out more if we were able to drive to each other. Yeah. Or, like... Yeah. It's hard. Long distance is hard.
Yeah. And time zone changes.
Oh my God. Time zones are stupid. I hate them.
Like my brother, when the time changed, he was then 3 hours ahead of me. Like, and you would be surprised, like 2 versus 3. It doesn't seem like it's that much. But the ability for us to watch shows together, like decreased so heavily.
Right. Ugh.
So,
sucks.
yeah. Yeah, it does.
Stupid. Yeah, you had said this line, I think, already, but I love this. Less man time, more Ann time. Children's concert, she says, children's concerts aren't a priority anymore. You know what is? Sewage. Pawnee's kids are less important than poop tubes.
Poop tubes.
I think that's my favorite line.
That's beautiful. Poop tubes.
It's a lovely line.
Whoever came up with that.
It's so funny and so gross. It has all of the qualities of a good joke, you know?
Yeah.
I also love that she says the ukulele doubles as a water gun. I want that.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how that's like possible at all, but that's a great idea. I would imagine that what's his ass from The Office, who does Suck It, would also do this, the ukulele doubling as a
David
Wallace. David Wallace, yes. Anne has this great idea to have a concert in the lot behind her house.
I love it.
Anne, you devious bastard.
I love that.
Yeah, so now we're at Anne's house, and Leslie has set up shop. She has her cork board with all these ideas, and she's nervous that no one's going to show up. I love this whole, like, little moment when she tells people to be there at 8, and we, like, you know, we know this for sure that Anne's going to be there. Obviously, she's right there. But I love this question that Anne's like, or not question, but I love that she's like, well, you might need to prepare yourself for the fact that no one was going to come. And then people do show up. And then I also love that she says, because this is what I do, and I think you do it too, where when Anne asks, like, do you think people are going to come? She's like, A, yes. B, even if no one does, we'll do it ourselves. C, but they'll definitely come. But also D, maybe not.
D, maybe. Maybe not.
Go back and forth.
Yeah. No, 100%. Same thing.
And then Anne's interior, same thing. Anne's interior is a set. I did not know this. I thought that
I thought it was an actual house.
Yeah, the outside is a house. But on the commentary, Rashida Jones was like, this looks so flawless. Like the cut from the from the outside exterior to the inside. She was like, I can't believe that's not a house. It just seems like it's flowing. And I was like, what? So yeah, that is a set, which is so crazy.
Wow.
But the
that is
outside
crazy.
really is a house in Van Nuys. So, and then Jerry comes. God bless you, Jerry Gergich. Everyone's shocked that she says that.
Yeah. And then, of course, pushes him out of the way as soon as April walks in the door.
Immediately. But go get stuff out of the truck. And then he's like not supposed to. Oh my gosh, because he has like a medical problem, as per always with Jerry. Also, I really hate.
Well, my doctor said I should avoid, and she says being a wuss. I agree.
Right.
So rude.
Being a wuss. Oh my god, so mean. Also, I don't like when Anne says when April says yes, Anne, I want pancakes.
Yeah, don't like that. And I also feel a little bit like Leslie here. Like, is that why Anne's here? Or is she here to help with the concert?
Yeah, Leslie.
Yeah.
Come on.
I love the way Rashida acts
Me
this,
too.
though. The way she performs this, okay,
Yeah.
is so well done.
Yeah, because you can see
I
that
love
she
it.
wants to say, why?
No. Yeah.
What?
Like, no, I made pancakes for you and me earlier because we're besties and you were here early enough to do it.
Right. Exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
There is a deleted scene where Leslie is eating pancakes from a bowl. Oh my god! And she literally has the syrup like up to the top of the bowl, like it's milk for cereal. And Anne is like,
that
"Are
would
you
make me
eating
gross.
Like, why are you eating them out of a bowl?" And she's like, "How else are you supposed to keep the syrup from spilling?" What? Like, she has so much syrup in there. It was so wild.
How is she not
Diabetic.
like? Yeah.
I don't
How is
know.
she not one of the Pawnee diabetics?
Oh my god. Diabetes. So now I'm at where they're at the budget meeting. Do you have anything before that?
No, I have slash it.
Oh my God.
As my next note.
Yeah. Ben says the budget needs to be cut by 32%. And Ron says, let's make it an even 40%. And
We don't need to do that.
that's really not necessary, is what Ben says. I don't like, I know. This is kind of like I think this might be where you were with Chris, trying to be factual and stuff. And like, okay, is that really true? I was like really angry with Ron, where I know that's not the point of this like moment, but I was so upset with him. I was like, you're being such a fucking dick. You're so callous. Like, get out of this. I love that this worker next to him says, would you mind not gloating? Like, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. And I love how serious this lady was and her like serious facial expression. I was 100% on her side. And also, I wanted to give her a little shout out. Her name is Julia Silverman, and she has worked a ton. She was in Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life, that like Netflix later thing. The revival version of that. Ray Donovan, General Hospital, a bunch of short films that she also produced as well.
Nice.
So that's great. So that was Julia, and I loved her performance. And she spoke for I won't say all of us, but she spoke for me for sure when she was like, can you not gloat about this?
Well, and he doesn't care about it until they talk about Leslie.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Like, and I feel like a lot of people are like this, and if you are, it is what it is because we want to protect our own. But a lot of people are like, yeah, let's do this. Let's change this. Let's do this. And then when it affects their people, they're like, oh, never mind. Let's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And I think that was kind of the point from the writer's perspective from what I was reading and stuff. And they mentioned this, I think either Mike Schur said it or somebody said it on one of my like fan pages that I was in my research, saying that like, even though, or maybe one of the critics says it, but like that was kind of like what came across was that like, even though Ron is callous about his own job and he hates his own job, he still really loves his employees. So
True. Yeah.
that is a good
that's
perspective
fair.
way, you know. So
I don't, this line that's like, just saying that just gave me a sound. It's like, dude.
I know. Why does that make you horny?
Yeah.
Stop it.
I can't.
Ugh. Chris is eating popcorn out of a cup, which is one of my favorite ways to eat that snack, especially at like work. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's so
That's great.
I love that.
I love
detail.
eating popcorn out of a cup. And then I always go back for 6 more cups, and it's like I should have just taken them
Yeah,
out.
I know. Same. Leslie calls Ron here at this moment and says, we're going to do the concert with or without you. I love it enough for the both of us.
Yes. At 9 minutes, 10 seconds, though, his phone goes off and does the gunshot.
Right.
It looks as though the camera moves.
Ooh.
And it almost, I couldn't tell if it was the camera moving or if he moved and then everybody jumped, because I almost wondered if he triggered it. Like he had the timer. So if you go back and watch that, there's some weird camera. So these are the things I think could have happened.
Yeah.
Either he's the one triggering it, so he goes down while everybody else is going up, and that gives that like really wiggly thing, visually for us, or the gunshot also scared whoever was holding the camera.
I think, that's what I would imagine. I was thinking that too. Like,
so,
the extras really do seem to jump, you know?
Yeah. No, I watched it 3 or 4 times to see if I could figure out what was going on. But it's very clear that there's something going on when that gunshot goes off.
Which means that shot that sound must have not been added in post.
Right.
You know? That's fascinating. Yeah. Okay, good call. I'll have to go back and watch that part.
Yeah.
9 minutes, 10 seconds, everybody.
Fun times.
Love it. Yeah, so she says she's going to do this. I also would like to know, I know we find out that everything was donated by local vendors, which is awesome, for free. But I wonder about that stage sometimes. Like, did they already have that for other events that they've done? Or did they have to spend money on that? Or did a local vendor donate that as well, you know?
I mean, the only thing that I could think of where somebody might have donated that was like maybe a school. Because sometimes schools make those.
Oh, yeah. That's true. You mean like the stage was owned or by a school?
Could have been.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I'm sure that somebody like has the stages, you know what I mean? Like set up somewhere. I don't know. Or maybe a local vendor donated it, whatever. The point is we have a stage and we need to use it. Also, we have a moon bounce and it's 16 minutes for premium bounce.
16 minutes. I love it.
I love it so much. This line where Donna says Freddy Spaghetti is notoriously funky, that line was cut apparently in the original airing. That was not in the original show, so I thought that was really hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah. Notoriously
Makes sense
funky.
that I didn't catch that.
I think it's a great line and just so interesting because the idea of a kids performer being like gross and nasty, even though he's supposed to be wholesome and pure. And then Tom is bragging about having sex because he's like, she spent the night and then I made her breakfast because we were doing sex stuff in the middle of that.
Yeah. This line that Lucy says, I have used it. I can't remember with who.
I love
but
it.
I've used it. You guys know him well enough that I don't have to apologize for his behavior, right?
Yes.
Like I've used that. I can't remember who I used it
Oh my
with.
God, that's awesome. Just straight out the gate, you know,
dad.
like you guys know he's crazy, right? So I'm not going to say anything else. You guys get this.
Yeah.
I love that. I love this character so much. She played it so well. That writing was great.
Oh, she in my head is perfect for Tom. I might have said that in the last episode.
Definitely. Yeah. Love it.
But yeah.
April's still being a little child about not wanting to talk to Andy because she takes Jerry's job of hanging up the flyers and
which she would never do.
Never. Also, I mean, Andy could have, I was just thinking about this. Andy could have moved on, but he's kind of fighting for her in this way and she's kind of being a butt.
He is. Yeah. This whole episode is an emotional roller coaster for me with them.
Yeah.
Because
it's supposed to be, dude.
Way,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So he follows her. And I do have to give April credit here. Mm-hmm. Speaking from personal experience too. He's going after her and he's like, they finally are like, I like you too. Like, okay, we're on the same page. We like each other. And then she's like, I can't be with you.
Yeah.
Because whenever I see you talk to Anne, I feel like you have feelings for her. And he's like, but I don't. And I believe Andy 100%. I believe he doesn't have feelings for her anymore. But I also understand where April's coming from, where she feels this pain when she sees them together. Yeah. And they run in the same circles, so it's not like it's not going to happen. So I feel like April's she's protecting herself in a way, and she's needing to get to a point where she really does believe it. Because she doesn't believe it right now.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that.
I have to respect that.
Yeah, I totally get it. Because it's not always like that the other person doesn't have feelings. It's how you're perceiving it. And if you're ready to accept it yet.
Yeah.
Which she just isn't. So.
But I also love her reaction isn't to say, well, you can't ever see Anne anymore if we're together.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because I've also seen that in relationships where it's like, well, you can't talk to that person
never works.
Anymore. And sometimes I back it because it makes sense. And sometimes it's like, but now you're being that person where you're making them choose.
Yeah, I hate that.
And you want them to choose on their own, not because
you made them.
You gave them an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Or like, and sometimes it's in the instances where like they don't need to stop talking to that person, like, but the other person just feels really weird about it, which like I can respect in some circumstances. But yeah, I think what you said is perfect. Like you want them to choose it on their own and have them be an individual person. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel good that I have to tell you to do this stuff. You know what I mean? So why would I even bother? Like, and also why would I, if I feel this way, why would I want to like waste my time? Like, why wouldn't I just want to go be with somebody that I like don't have to worry about that stuff with? You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like, why wouldn't the other person like want to just leave in general so that they don't have to make these ultimatums? You know what I mean? I know it's not all black and white, obviously, but anyway, oh, I wanted to say when she spits out the hay bale, or like the little piece of a hay bale, or like the straw, she said that she improvised that, and the director Jason Woliner said that she shouldn't because it wouldn't make the final cut, but she did it anyway, and it did. So I thought that was interesting. And then let's see. Well, I'm kind of skipping a tiny bit ahead, but I do want to mention that Mike Schur and Chris Pratt on the commentary at this point said that they had this idea for Andy getting into a motorcycle accident a long time ago before this. Like they were saying that a motorcycle would be for the next time that he gets injured because, you know, he's always getting into something or getting injured. Yep. So like they had this idea for the motorcycle bajillion years ago. And then when they had the stunt person that fell into the pit for Andy, and he like busted his head or whatever, that guy whose name is Joe Bucaro, who I'll go on a deep dive about a little bit later, was known for doing motorcycle stunts. And Chris Pratt was like, he can do a motorcycle stunt, so Andy should do a motorcycle stunt. Yeah. So that's how that came to be, which is really interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I'm at where Ann and Tom have a cute moment.
They really do. And he ruins it. But it is a nice moment where he does tell her that he thinks she's a really nice person.
Yeah. Anyone would be lucky to have her as their girlfriend. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah. I think she needed that too. Me too. Because there's so much where, and I feel like you might get this from my side too. Like, I trust you and I know you're always going to be honest with me, but I know you're also always on my side. Yeah. Right? And to have it come from someone who's not always on your side and isn't obligated to be on your side, sometimes that means a lot too.
Definitely.
You know,
that's true.
Where it's like, you're not usually nice to me.
Right.
Or you're usually really gross and you're being nice. That sometimes can be the kick in the ass you need a little bit. Yeah. You know?
Well, number one, thank you. I'm glad that you said that. I appreciate it. And always on your side. Number two, Tom, I like that line, what you like, basically summing up what you said about, you know, Anne saying, I like Tom with the girlfriend. You know what I mean? It definitely changes his personality a tiny bit and his characters and gives him some perspective, because there are some people that will, you know, you grow with as you go, as Ben Platt says in his song, which if anyone's familiar. But yeah, that's really interesting. Also, this is a scene that was cut. This was not in the original airing. I thought that was so sad because this
I might have only been watching Parks and Rec on Netflix then.
Maybe so.
For this season.
Maybe so.
Because I don't think I've ever seen it without this scene.
Maybe. I don't know when they released the producer's cut or how that all worked, of like maybe when they went to streaming, they released it, everything. I'm not really sure, but yeah, that's so wild though. Like I'm so glad that we get to see that, because without it, I mean, it doesn't really take away from the story necessarily, but I think that's such a nice moment for us to see Tom be like a good person for a brief second, even though, you know, are you serious though? Because I could talk to Lucy about a three-way situation.
Yeah. Oh, buddy.
Also, I have a fun thing. In the commentary, Aubrey Plaza, aka April, says that did I say Aubrey? I don't know.
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza.
I know who you were talking about.
AKA April was saying that when that scene comes up, she's like, see, they're going to end up together. And everybody's like, Tom and Anne? And so it was before they made that decision, I think, which is so wild. I wanted you to hear the commentary clip really fast because I think it's really interesting.
Great scene between Aziz and Rashida that we sadly had to cut.
Because I definitely talked to Lucy about a three-way situation.
Unbelievable. See, they're going to end up together.
Tom and Anne?
They're definitely...
Tom and Anne.
laying that foundation. Tom's changing. Anne's changing.
Well, we've had this idea for a long time that maybe we'll do someday, which is that when they're both single, that Tom keeps hitting on Anne, and eventually Anne just goes, all right, let's do this. And they go out on a date and have like a really awesome date.
Right.
And at the end of it, Tom's like, yeah, I'm not feeling it.
I want the last scene of the date to be like Anne goes in for a kiss and Tom just cheeks her. Boom.
Cheeks her.
I just got cheeked by Tom Alford.
Nick, you made it interesting.
So that's so
I love this. I love hearing them all together.
Me too. It's so nice to hear them talk about it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's so fascinating that we kind of like hear the origin / like ideas that they were tossing around, and they didn't know kind of that they were going to get together or like be together briefly, which I think that, I don't know, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like it was a mess from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like either way, that situation was not going to really work out, but it would just be fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it checks out character-wise that they would end up together anyway.
No. But I just think it's really funny. So yeah, it is nice to hear them all together. That was Mike Schur, by the way, at the beginning of the clip, if anyone was unfamiliar. So now we're back at the office at the meeting, and Ben says, let's talk about Parks and Rec budget. And Chris is giving a massage to Ron while he's talking. And right at the end of that clip that I just played, it said Amy Poehler was cut off. I cut it off, and she says, Nick, you made a really interesting point, blah, blah, blah. And it was that Nick says on the commentary, it's funny because he noted that this was his first scene with two guys on the show, like just a scene with two guys. And I guess I need to fact check that, but it does make sense because maybe he didn't have any scenes with like just Tom and Jerry or just Mark and Tom or whatever. You know what I mean?
He's had some just with Andy, but I don't know if it's ever just
one
been two
guy.
guys.
He was saying two guys.
Right.
You know? So very fascinating.
Weird that it's only Chris and Ron in the massage train.
I know, right?
Why did we not include other people?
He was like, I'll be the caboose.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about cutting Leslie Knope. Oh my God.
Also, like seriously, I have a problem with this, not only because I love Leslie, but because Ben's met Leslie and he's had meetings with her.
Yeah.
Seriously?
I know. And he knows too. But see, that's the thing. Like, he just doesn't get it yet.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking annoying because you should get it by now. And we've told you 800,000 times, but whatever.
Well, and I think the other thing that like Ron could get to at some point telling him is Leslie would take a pay cut in a second to keep her job.
I was thinking that too. Open. I have that as a note as well. I'm like, well, couldn't they have lowered somebody's salary even though that really sucks? Like, couldn't that have been like, instead of cutting them out completely? And when he says like she makes one of the highest salaries, like it would go a long way. I mean, you don't get it. And like, also logistically, she is the one who runs it, who runs the Parks Department.
And Ron says that.
Yeah.
He says, I fire me. And I do understand why Ben wants to keep him, right? Because his mindset will help keep them fiscally responsible.
Yeah.
But I don't get this Leslie situation.
Right. Which is like, it's so
she is the Tom Brady of the Parks Department. She would, because I don't know if you know this, but Tom Brady has asked for for not getting more money or will take less money in order to get better players to pass to.
Interesting.
Like he will take pay cuts for that. And so she 100% would do that. To be able to keep running things for the Parks Department, she would take a pay cut.
Yeah. I can't wrap my head around it. And it also says, well, it is really special, first of all, that Ron says like no other department has a Leslie Knope to begin with. Look at when Ben says that every department is cutting a Leslie Knope. And that, and Ron's like, that's just not true.
Yeah,
you know, which is so true. So this is his like redeeming arc moment.
Right. But his teddy bear moment. He's fighting for her.
But I do like that Ron says, you know, let's just cut me. You know, and they said that on the commentary too, that Mike Schur was like, it's really interesting that like his like crap, what were like Aristotle and Galileo philosophy. Yes, they were saying that his like philosophy was his moral standpoint. This was a really good character moment for him to be like philosophical.
Yeah.
So
100%.
But anyway, so now we're back with, this is when we go back to Andy and April and reverse psychiatry.
Yeah, can I say something
Yes,
for a
please.
second though? Why is his idea to sell the zoo animals? And why did he not choose that maybe just let's sell them to another zoo?
Another zoo.
Not a cosmetology lab
Oh
or
my God.
a restaurant?
That's so true.
My dude. Yeah, I was like, there are other options. I don't know why that was the first thing you went to.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. I love this,
That's so
the
sucky.
reverse psychiatry, because that's, first of all, that's not the phrase, and psychology
Right.
and psychiatry are different.
Yeah. Well, Aubrey
So-
Plaza said that this was improvised, but Pratt couldn't remember, so I don't know.
That's funny.
I could see either one.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So
That's great.
yeah, that's definitely interesting. And then they also talk about the spy shots in here, because, and I didn't really catch it until the commentary, to be honest with you, because you can see like the trees and the leaves and stuff, like in the shot of the frame where like it's like the camera's hiding behind a bush or something, and it's perfect, really, because Mike Schur also said the rule was that the more intimate the scene, the further away the cameras have to be. And that is so profound. I love that, because just like Jim and Pam's like I love you moment at the casino or their engagement, the cameras are way further away. So I love that that's a rule.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
also Adam Scott said that this was, AKA Ben, said that this was his first time, like many people, I think anyway, that this was his first time acting with 3 cameras that like sometimes you just couldn't see. And so it was like really interesting and like weird for him to do that. But, and they were all kind of talking about it, and they were saying it kind of makes your acting better, not only because I think Amy was saying this to like, as in the camera's not as close, so you can't really see that they're acting anyway. But the second part is that like Rashida was saying that in some scenes, like if they're inside an office where they're doing a spy shot, like there are some times when you literally cannot see the camera at all. So they're really just in there with each other like a play, and like with no audience, nothing. So it's really interesting, because that's, I feel, when the acting would really come out, because then you're not performing at all. You're just doing it.
Right.
Okay, so so now we're back with April and Andy, and I thought it was really refreshing that Andy said out loud to her face, like, I like you. Like, whoa, we're not in that culture really to do that. So, and also, even though he saw her with John Ralphio, he's still trying, and she immediately says yes when he asks her if she likes him, but she thinks he likes Anne still. And like you said, I really like that she says that. You know what I mean? So now we're at where Ron is spilling the beans about Leslie hosting the concert for the kids.
I was like, dude.
And you can see
You
it on
didn't
his
need to
face too.
share
He's
that.
like, "Ugh," when Ben says she's doing what. Also, this is Ron comes in running. He's which is hilarious.
This meme, I use this meme all the time. I love it. It's my favorite. It's hilarious. The first time I saw this episode, I'm pretty sure I rewound it like 10 times.
It's so good. I do need to clear up a few things, because a lot of people think this is improvised. It was not improvised. But it also wasn't in the script. So it wasn't in the script, but it was not an accident. Let's put it that way. So he didn't just like randomly fall. He thought about it, and he talked to the writers and like whatever, the director or whatever, about it. I don't think he talked to the writers about it. I mean the directors. But he thought about it on the day of and decided to do it. And he did it a lot of times. But people thought it was an accident. And they were like, oh my God, did they just like leave that in there? But no, he planned to do that. So it was so good.
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorites.
I know. I'm going to have to Google that in the next time I send a meme. But
it's been a really strange day for me. I love that line. Like,
yes.
I've been fighting for government jobs, like,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. It's been a really strange day for me.
Yeah, totally. We get a little insight here into Ben and Chris's working relationship, because like I said, I think in this episode, we get to see that Chris has no idea he's giving them false hope. Like he truly believes he can save everything, even though like it's really shitty that he can't, or doesn't. And I love Leslie's speech to Ben here too, where she's like, everything, like, it's not canceled, okay? Because everything was donated by local vendors. I like when when Chris is like up on stage and says like, Chris or Ben, what can we do? And Ben's like, yeah, we're shutting it down. And I'm like, no, get out of here. So here's the thing though, it's not canceled. That's one of my fave lines too.
Yeah, I like that.
Also, were Ray-Bans a sponsor of this? Like,
I don't know, but that's boss when they walk in like that.
Yeah, it's really to me personally, I was like, who are these motherfuckers? They look so different from everyone else. They're the only ones wearing the sunglasses. Why are they being so cocky about it? Like, they don't need to, like, no one else is wearing them.
Great wardrobe choice.
Great wardrobe choice. Truly. It's really funny because that's something that they did mention that you picked up on, that on the commentary, they say that, like, I think Amy Poehler mentioned this, like, it was really interesting that they came in looking like the big city folk and everybody else was like, you know, the regular old townspeople. And then, which is great. I think that really draws a line between them, which is so necessary.
Yeah.
And it was just a pair of sunglasses, which was great. Also, it was funny.
They're still on two different teams, right?
Right.
Like, we get to a point where Chris and Ben are Team Pawnee.
Yes, definitely.
But we're not there yet.
But not now. Not at all.
Yeah.
Also, it was funny because Adam Scott on the commentary said that they looked like the FBI guys in E.T.
That's what I was going to say.
Really?
Yeah, and kind of like Men in Black-y.
Yeah, I was going to say Men in Black too, for sure. For sure. So then we find out that Freddy Spaghetti took another gig when he found out that, you know, this one was canceled. And at a library.
I'm not even mad at him.
I know.
I mean, I'm kind of mad about the library, but I mean, as musicians, like, you lose a gig, you got to make another one, man. Like, I don't.
Yeah, you got to take your pay where you can get it. I get it. Tom says that's the worst place he could imagine is a library. How dare you, Freddy Spaghetti? It's fine. But not really. So then, I was going to say, Rob Lowe giving Ben the water and saying, like, you should hydrate. That was improvised. He just kind of did that.
Nice.
So I think that's wonderful.
So Chris-like.
It totally is. So cool. He also, from my research, they didn't say this on the commentary, but I found that he also improvised clapping when Leslie gets up on stage and says, if you're happy and you know it when you like, clap your hands. And he's the only one that claps.
Well, luckily, they had him in the shot.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
So good.
I have this little right here when Leslie goes, Freddy Spaghetti might not sing. And she takes everybody off to the side, right?
Yeah.
And that's when Chris says, hydrate.
Yeah.
Ron doesn't know his place. He's like kind of pacing back and forth behind Ben and Chris.
Good catch.
He's like he's kind of just doing this situation.
Yeah.
Where do I go?
Right.
Because he came in with the big guys, but he's not on their team.
Right.
But he also hasn't helped plan anything.
Right.
So he's kind of like, where do I fit now?
But he came in like technically for the Pawnee team because he was telling them about the big guys. But he was originally on the big guys team. That's a great point. Love that. So now he's lost. Then we've got Leslie asking Andy to play, and Andy's like, I don't feel like playing. Also, this is really funny because we're changing sex hair into pickle hair. Andy loves it, but also it's interesting because this is not the first or not the only time. This is the first time, but it's not the only time we try to change sex hair into a kid's song.
Correct.
It's so funny. You got pickled hair, baby. Hair.
They probably were like, all right, that was one of the 500 we have that were good.
Yeah.
So we got to bring it back later.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Amy Poehler on the commentary said that her son Archie was on set this day and they had a rooster that would like cock-a-doodle-doo basically. And every time they would call action, the rooster would do the sound and then Archie would imitate it. And there was like 5 sets or 5 takes where he was like caught on camera doing that. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. I'm sure it was like frustrating for the crew, but that's so cute.
You just time it though. You're like, okay, I know there's going to be a rooster and then I know Archie's going to go and then now we go.
Right, exactly. Oh my God. And then we've got this awful moment when Andy crashes his motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
So
it surprises me that Leslie isn't one of the first people running.
I know.
She's more like, oh shit.
Right.
Now what?
Right. Mm-hmm. And everyone else is running toward him. That's so true. She's just more taken aback. She's got too much stuff like on her mind.
She's got a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the first take. They did it twice. And that was the first take. Amazing.
Good job, dude.
Oh, so good. I had to also rewind and see if there was like a stop sign or anything because I was like, what were the logistics of that? But again, can't get too deep. But I did rewind and it doesn't look like it was. It just looks like he ran out in front of a car that was already going, basically. It was so good. Mm-hmm. And then Amy on the commentary shouted out Tom, which was not Tom Haverford, but Tom, the camera operator, and Shauna, the camera operator. She was like, we have some of the best ones, best camera operators because that shot did really look phenomenal. It really did. Yeah. I did email Shauna about this shot, so we'll see if she gets back to me. She's usually pretty good at emailing, but I know she's super busy, so I'll keep you posted. And then Joe Bucaro. Okay, so I did a deep dive on him. He is the stunt guy. He, for whatever reason, is not listed on IMDb under this episode. He has an IMDb, but I thought there's a stunt coordinator for the show called Sean Graham, who was, a part of the show. But for some reason, Joe Bucaro is not. The reason I know that he was on this is because Andy and Mike Schur, so Pratt and Mike Schur talked about him. And he's done so many things. He's done Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Iron Man, Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, he's a big stunt guy in Hollywood. So it's really amazing that they got him. And like I said, it all started with him falling down the pit. And then they were like, oh my God, that guy does motorcycle stunts. We got to get him to do one. And he was nominated. Joe Bucaro was nominated for a SAG award for Ford v Ferrari. So he was in that. And 6 other awards. Nice. Side note, Taurus Awards are what you win at the World Stunt Awards, which, by the way, is an award ceremony for stunts. And I'm so glad that they have that.
I'm glad too. I had no idea.
Me neither. I think that's incredible and so wonderful because they really need to get the recognition that they deserve. It's insane.
Yeah, true. They're putting their life on the line, man.
Literally. Okay, Joe Bucaro was nominated for Best Fire Stunt twice for 2 different movies. Like, that's insane. Such respect.
Yeah, no
They're
thanks.
setting themselves on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks. I know they have, like, protection or whatever, but, like, you can die.
Yeah. If something goes wrong, you could very well die.
Yeah. Anyway, so now I'm at the hospital.
Okay.
And
that sounds, I'm definitely there.
Okay. We find out that he has 2 broken bones in his arm and 4 in his right hand. That's like a lot.
That's a lot.
And
does he have a cast after this? Or is there enough time between season 2 and season 3 that he doesn't have it at the beginning of season 3? I don't think he has it.
I don't think. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Recap moment.
Yes, recap moment for sure. Because I really don't know. I love that. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love that Leslie's still brainstorming in this moment. She's like, can Rat Mouse play without you? And he goes, I mean, they've tried before and they're Mouse Rat and it's
you
really
mean the
bad.
Other way around, can Mouse Rat play without you? And then he was like, they're called Rat Mouse and they're awful.
Yeah. And Anne's nodding in agreement. Like she was there when they tried it.
I noted that too. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
And kind of like a little bit of a foreshadowing of what we're going to see later. Mm-hmm. But
the show must go wrong.
The show must go wrong. I love that so much. I actually think that I should take that into like my life anyway. You know what I mean? Like you just got to keep going on. Everything goes wrong. You just have to deal with it, is what he says. Yeah. I also love that he says that's the side that hurts when he.
I do too. I love Dr. Harris.
Me too. Oh my God.
He's just so blatantly like, yeah, I'll just advance medical technology 30 years. He's like, okay, great.
Yes. Is there any way you can fix me within the next 10 minutes? Oh my gosh. Yeah, Mike Schur mentioned him on the commentary as well and said that he really loves that he just comes in to insult everybody and then leaves.
Yep. That's basically his job.
Yep.
100%.
So Dr. Harris, a friendly reminder, we've seen him before in Rock Show and Pocahontas, and Dr. Harris is played by Cooper Thornton, which, by the way, is from Nashville, so that's exciting. I did mention that when we reviewed him the first time. Also, that was, the Pocahontas was the one that Nicole Pettis, our nurse friend of Anne's, was also in, so that's kind of cool, because, they were playing doctors in... Like they were dressed as doctors for Halloween, which was really funny. And not funny at the same time, but funny for the show. But he played a doctor in Gone Girl, which is interesting. Because, he plays another doctor somewhere. So, but he's always Dr. Harris to us.
Yes, 100%.
And then, okay, now I'm back at the park, if you are.
Yeah, and I don't know how they made such an elaborate sign to go back.
Okay, that's my next thing, Maddie. I literally wrote set decoration was amazing.
Yeah, 100%. There's like a drawing of kids in a park chilling. Yeah.
And like behind him, it's like beautiful. These cartoon kind of things where they're like playing instruments and stuff. Is that the one you're talking about? Like behind the stage? Yeah.
Yeah. But I also love that it's not so, it's huge. But I also don't think, I think it was very well done because it's beautiful, but it's not so well done where it looks like they paid someone to do it. It looks like the parks department got together and did it themselves.
Oh, that's a great point. I agree. I think that is so true. I have it highlighted now because I really want to talk to somebody on the art department. I think that would be so cool because just like they said, all the sets and stuff are also art department too, like setting up the hospital and the town hall and all that. So yeah, definitely would love that.
Down for it.
Renata Ricotta is the name that Leslie comes up with. That's so smart to me.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so
she got
many
too
extras.
dark though.
You said what?
She got way too dark.
Oh yeah,
there was sauce everywhere.
I'm like, her noodle.
There was
sauce everywhere.
You should have stopped at bumped the noodle. That was funny. And now this is a kids program.
Yes, when she says that, they zoom in on these two kids, which is so freaking hilarious. They're just kind of like staring at her. There's so many extras in here. Super crowded. I'm going to read the names of the people who were listed on IMDb as kids. Okay. They were listed as park kids or green park kids. I don't know what the difference is.
Weird. Okay.
I'm pretty positive that what happened was the kids themselves or their parents who are managing their IMDb like wrote this in kind of thing, so no one really knew if it was park kid or green park kid or whatever, but they just made up their own name. But one was Veronica Avila, Jade Holden, Destiny Mason, and Julia Mazzucato. So if any of you guys are listening,
what a cool last name.
I know, Mazzucato. It goes with the Italian linguini Renata Ricotta moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if any of you guys know those names, let us know. We'd be happy to talk to them. But if not, thank you for your service and your time on the show because there were so many fucking extras. It's insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
And it looked great. It looked great. Like people turned out for this.
Yeah, 100%.
And then this is when she starts singing, If You're Happy and You Know It.
My literal next note is fucking Chris. And I know exactly what I mean by that. Yes.
The clapping. Fucking Chris.
Yeah.
So funny. So this is where our friend Brian McCann comes on and says his funny line. Freddy Spaghetti shows up and says, all I know is this guy showed up and made me a much better offer, and I'm all about the money, baby.
All about the money, baby. All about the money, baby.
That was kind of my favorite
Mm.
line, too. I don't know. I can't decide. Whatever.
No, it's beautiful. We get our little moment with Ben.
Yes!
You know?
Ugh.
I love it.
Yeah, totally. Also, this little smile moment. But Amy said there was a bunch of like weird perverted stuff that Freddy Spaghetti was singing about in like the cut scene. So Brian McCann was like improvising and making up stuff. And
That's amazing.
I know. He was like singing about meeting kids' moms and like paying his ex-wife too much alimony. And then it would get like really dark. So you think that Leslie got dark with the sauce. That was
pretty gentle.
Yeah, that was gentle compared to what Freddie did. But yeah, Ben paid for him. I can't believe they did that. And then now I'm at the turkey leg, and we'll go back to Ben and Leslie's conversation in a moment. But the turkey leg,
yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I have the turkey leg, and I have Lucy almost seems like a female Ron to me a little bit. Not as extreme.
No.
But, you know, she's got the tough handshake. She's like, damn, that's cool meat.
Yeah.
Like, my dad always told me, you know, she's connecting with him. I really like this moment, and I love that they call that turkey leg a Swanson. We actually have a restaurant here in Prescott, and it's one of my favorites called Liquor Deli. And it's awesome. It's like actually like you go in and you can grab a beer from it's like a liquor store.
Yeah.
But you can grab a beer and they'll open it for you at your table, and you can just straight up like go pick your beer that way.
Oh, nice.
And eat dinner or whatever. And they have a burger there named the Ron Swanson burger.
No way.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Does it have bacon on it?
It does.
Oh my God, of course.
Yes, of course it does.
That's so cool. Yeah. I bet it has like
that's what it
all
made
the
me think of.
On it.
It's pretty great. It's actually not as it's not as crazy as I thought it would be, but it's a good burger.
It's
we
meat,
get it all the time.
and that's what Ron loves.
Correct.
I wanted to mention really fast too that I totally forgot to say Freddy Spaghetti's wearing this red shirt over his yellow shirt, and it really made me think of like ketchup and mustard, and I wonder if that was intentional.
Could be
because of like kids and their, you know, those condiments on literally everything, like chicken nuggets and burgers and all that stuff. But it also could just because it's bright colors. Also, he's wearing a headset mic, and the regular mic is also on. And I think there would be frequency feedback there, but I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good catch.
So apparently, back to this turkey leg, they had the turkey leg. That was intentional. And then there was a guy named Brian in props that said, hey, want to wrap some bacon around that? This is on the commentary that Nick was talking about. And then it happened. So go props. That's amazing.
Nice.
The bacon was not in the script. And then the director, Jason Woliner, said to call it a Swanson. So that was his idea.
Beautiful.
Also, shout out to this fellow named Patrick Well, who apparently played the turkey leg vendor. That was listed on IMDb. LOL. We don't see him in the shot, but he probably did the same thing. Added his name in. You said what?
He got credit for it. So.
Yes, absolutely. And then we meet the Lucy. We have the Lucy moment, and Lucy meets Ron. And yeah, I think they just kind of like maybe understand each other, because I don't say, like you said, I don't think that she's as extreme, nor does she like probably believe all the things that he does, but she just like was raised around a guy like him, so she can get his vibe.
She's not as extravagant as Tom, and I think that's what mellows him out a little bit.
Yeah, very true. She's very down to earth and very.
Whereas Mona Lisa later, that's just a hot fucking mess.
Too much of the same. Mm-hmm. So bad. And also, this is when like maybe Mona Lisa would have like been good for Tom at this moment, but Tom at that point is more mellow / like, you know, trying to be an adult. You know.
True. Yeah. 100%.
So I love this song that he sings. It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot linguini
that
so
she had for the first time today. Yeah, it's so good.
It's so fun. Apparently they were trying to come up on set that day with all the different like puns and stuff. Like later they say Penny and the Jets.
Penny and the Jets.
And
I wondered how many there were of those. Oh, beautiful.
I know. I don't know how many there were, though. They didn't say. Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, also, I wanted to say, this is random, but behind Ron at the food truck, there's a Heinz, and scratched out, like the Heinz is scratched out on the truck, like on the food truck. It's like a mustard bottle. And so I think somebody took a Sharpie to it for legal reasons. So that was just a catch that I had for all my background people. You know what I mean? Oh, my God. Yeah. Okay, next scene, we're at the hospital.
Yep, I'm at it. And we have this little moment between Anne and Andy. And, I mean, she goes for it.
I feel so bad for Anne. This is so embarrassing.
Yeah, I know it's so embarrassing. But the other thing I have and I know Andy really likes April. But he, like, is so almost excited.
Yeah.
That she's come back to him. Like, the look on his face.
For a brief second.
Yeah, it is a brief second. You're right. But he does go...
Like, you did that. For me, it was more of like, oh, you fucked up. Oh,
yeah. That's fair.
That's
fair. I can see that too. Yeah.
But also, you could tell that you really know that Andy doesn't, like, love her anymore because he pulls away first.
Yeah.
If you really watch it, I did rewind it because I was a nerd, and I was like, he pulled away first. Like, he didn't stay in the kiss. I think he liked it for the first second. Obviously, what guy wouldn't? But
I think it's almost closure for him because he spent so long trying to get Anne back.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like this, she fucking did want me back. She, you know, we've kind of met in the middle here or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
And now he's over
some sort of closure. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, that like little pointing thing when he was like, oh, gasping, it was more of like, oh, like you did this. You were the fuck up this time.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so next we've got I wanted to say before I move on back to the concert, Mike Schur said on the commentary that they wanted this kiss situation to be very delicate because they didn't want either of them to look like jerks, like one kissing the other even though he likes somebody else, and then one kissing or too many A's names, and kissing Andy even though April likes him. You know what I mean? So they just said that, and they just said that they were very delicate with it. And I think it worked well. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it worked really well. It was acted really well. Rashida Jones said that Chris Pratt had onions also, and she tasted it's so gross. Aww. Sorry to end it with that nasty moment, but
also, why is she all of a sudden, she was at the concert and now all of a sudden she's on shift?
Yeah.
This is what I have to say about this. Now she's at work. Like, she's never at work in this fucking show.
Yeah.
And then now she's at work all of a sudden.
Yeah.
In the middle of the concert. Like, you'd think she would have, you know.
Yeah.
It would have been a day where she was there all day. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. Well, maybe she had a later shift or whatnot. Well, just like when we talk about why she was there in the morning time for after April's birthday party at the Parks Department. You're like, wait a second. She didn't have to work,
Right.
but maybe her
Why are
shift
you here?
started later.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was nice to see that. And
Yeah.
as far as like her working. But also so are you back at the park?
Back at I think it's Ben and Leslie talking.
Yes. He says he's not a monster because like Leslie's like, that was really nice of you. And he was like, well, I'm not a monster. I want the kids to have their concert. And in my head for a brief second, I was like, yes, you are a monster. At this point in time, yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that you're not a monster yet. Okay.
Well, and I think she does a great thing redirecting him and saying,
Yeah.
Can you just step back for a second and enjoy the fact that you've given someone a service? She is 100% in this job for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And you see it throughout this episode.
Right.
She's getting no benefit out of this other than the fact that she is serving her community.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which, like, I gotta say, you guys, as much as I would love to be Leslie Knope, like, this is a character, okay? And you can't give all of 8,000% every single day. You can give a lot.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
But if she was a real person, that person would be burned out 24/7.
Oh my God, all the time.
Yeah.
But this
like,
is
I
why
feel like
we're,
I
like,
do. Yeah, I
inspired
think
by
this
her.
is why we're so burned out all the time.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, truly. So
That's accurate.
And we were talking about, I don't think we recorded this part, but we were talking about at your job where like you could take it down like to 90%, but for us that's like 100% because right now we're giving 150. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So yes, we're back at there. There's a special moment, and also he says that this is, first of all, we just have to point out this, which we've said it, but we just have to really lay down that this is like the start. Okay, this is when they're smiling at each other, they're goofing around. He says biggest service was getting you to stop singing because
I love that line.
It's so cute. And then she says, like you said, just just enjoy that you did this for the people. Now, I want to share another commentary moment because it was so cute that they were talking about Ben and Leslie's like future.
What's going to happen with these two?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Because
I'm into it. I'm so into it.
enjoy the fact that you provided a service for people, not a cut.
Mm-hmm.
Service. And they love it.
That's a really nice moment for us.
Because service was getting you to stop singing.
When boys tease you, they like it. That's what my mom said.
That made me laugh so hard when I was watching it the
amazing.
first time. When boys tease you, they like you. That's what my mom said.
I love her.
I love Amy Poehler so much. It's so funny. So now we've got Lucy asking if she wants to go to Anne's house to do some stuff. He runs so fast.
Yeah.
Again, this is like, they said, they kind of talked about this in the commentary a little bit too, but I like was thinking this before that, where like both Chris and Tom have like wildly weird running, like quickly moments. You know what I mean? But at least, okay. I mean, I get it if you like running all the time for 10 miles every day or whatever, or however long you run every day. But at least Tom is like running to something, like to something pleasurable.
Yeah. Every time I tell Ivan, because I like to run. It's one of my like mental health things.
Definitely. And I fully support / get that.
No, yeah. And you've always been supportive of that. And Ivan supports it too, but he always makes this joke. I'm like, do you want to go on a run with me? And he goes, from what?
That's funny. That's a good dad joke.
So, yeah, he makes fun of me a lot. He's like, why are we running if we're not running from something or to something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah. I
anyway,
wish I was one
wanna
of those
comment.
people that loved running as a mental health thing, because the endorphins, and it's a full body workout, but can't do it.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
No.
I support people that do, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Everybody has their own thing for sure.
Yeah. And I'm also glad that we got to see this running at the beginning, because apparently, is it this one? I have it written that this little scene also got cut in the original airing. I think it did, actually. I think it was just yes, it was just, I think I'll have to go back and check for sure. You guys, I'm pretty positive that I'm saying this right. But I think it was just her saying, like, do you want to go back to Anne's house? I think it was just that line and then him running got cut. Okay. But, like, the later part when Chris Traeger actually goes in, like,
that's
that
so
part
good.
Was
aired. I have that written too.
It's so funny. And then, oh my gosh, then April's visiting. April visits Andy in the hospital. And she said
she's changed her mind.
Yes, she was like, what I said was crazy because you know how she's doing that thing where she's like, oh my god, you're hurt and I could have lost you, so like I don't want to miss my chance.
Yeah.
And then they kiss, and then I do love that he's being honest with her.
He does the right thing.
He
100% does the right thing.
And she runs out the door. Oh, she doesn't even wait. April! I love that.
It's so good. And the nurse's face, whoever that actress is, when she gives the facial expression when he's like, I swear to God, dude, you better not kiss me.
I love this lady. I tried to find who she was. I couldn't find it. So she must have been an extra, or maybe she just wasn't credited because she didn't have any lines or whatever. But I loved her. She made me laugh out loud, especially like when her glasses are down and she's just staring at him. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, why would you think that I want to kiss you?
Right.
Apparently, couple things. They did do a couple takes where, or maybe it was just one take where Aubrey Plaza said that she punched Chris Pratt on the arm, like instead of just running out. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad they didn't show that. That would have been bad for me to see. Yeah. And then Pratt said that he kissed this nurse in one of the takes. I don't know if that was a joke, but he definitely said he did. And I was like,
that's hilarious.
Oh my God. I'm just going to imagine that happened, even though like I hope that it was consensual. I'm sure it was. But
or he prepped her at least.
Yeah, that he prepped her. Oh my God. Because it doesn't really make sense because she was kind of far away. So I don't see how that could have happened like in real time unless they talked about it beforehand, but whatever. So yeah, I thought that was so funny though. This nurse is perfect. Dude, don't even think about kissing me. That was the line.
I love it.
Now I'm at where Chris comes in to try to talk to Anne, and then we just hear Tom and Lucy. What are you doing? Get out of here. I love that. I love that technique. And then Chris just comes back out whistling like nothing happened. Oh my God.
Yeah. That's so good.
And then I'm at where Leslie's talking to this little girl named Chelsea, asking what her favorite song is, and that's where we learn about the Penny and Jets.
Penny and the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Props to her, to Amy Poehler for coming up with that. And this kid's name is Izzy Eggerling. So good job, Izzy. You know what I mean? The parent's name is Emily Adams. She's been in Day of Our Lives, Silicon Valley, ER, among many others. So great job to Emily as well.
Nice.
Emily messaged me back as well. So thank you so much. And I'm just going to read her email because it was in typing form, not voice memo form. So obviously I asked her what her audition was like and if she remembers if it was the same sides. And she said, I remember my audition being pretty quick and simple. I read directly with the casting director, went in and did my lines once through. I didn't have a callback and was cast from that first audition, which I remember being surprising and cool. I dug back into my emails and the sides were roughly the same for the audition, but were trimmed up a little for the final script. So she actually, that's amazing that she went back into her emails, but the audition side said, really, Leslie, thank you. You're such a lifesaver. With all the parks closed, we've been going crazy. And in the show, it said, thank you all so much. With all the parks closed, we've been going crazy. So instead of saying she's a lifesaver, she just said, thank you so much. So that's really interesting, those little tiny details. I love hearing that. The second question was, what was her day on set like? And did she have, what was it like to have a scene with Amy Poehler? And she said, she writes, my day on set was fairly uneventful. Spent most of the day in/at my trailer, which was parked at base camp a couple blocks away from the shooting location in Van Nuys. I am ashamed to admit that I hadn't really watched the show before I was cast. So even though I was aware that I was riding to set in a van with most of the main stars of the show, at the time I did not truly appreciate how cool it was to be in a van with Ron, Tom, Jerry, and Donna. I kicked myself after the fact when I became a huge fan of the show, all caps huge, and realized how stupid I was for not recognizing that I was in the presence of greatness. They were all very nice, but I politely kept to myself and didn't try to insert myself into any conversations they were having amongst themselves. Amy Poehler was already on set when I arrived. I was aware of how cool it was to be shooting a scene with her. She was also very nice, but all business. Our scene was towards the end of the day, and I remember there being a definite time crunch with needing to get the young actress who played my daughter wrapped by a certain time. So the shooting So shooting the scene went by very quickly. We ran through it once for a rehearsal and then shot it a couple of times, and that was it. We were done. We were whisked away back to base camp in the same van that brought us to set. And for those of you who don't know, if you are a child actor, you do have to only have a certain amount of time on set. So that is probably where that came from. The next question was to Emily Adams. Was it cool to work with the gal who plays your daughter? Speaking of her. And she said she was very sweet. We spent a little more time together hanging out at base camp since we were there most of the day before we shot our scene. I think she was there with her mom and she had to do her schooling most of the day. So again, if you're on set as a kid, you do have to go to school a certain amount of hours and you can only work a certain amount of hours. So that is, that makes a lot of sense. And for those of you who aren't in the industry or like weren't super familiar with kids working, and if you've like seen Disney shows, yeah, they're only allowed to work a certain amount of hours, and they also have to go to school for a certain amount of time. So they're on set in like a school trailer, and there's a set teacher and all that good stuff. Which she didn't say any of that stuff. I was just filling you guys in. Anyway, and then the last question was, anything else you'd like to share about the day? And she wrote, I think that's it. Parks and Rec is an awesome all caps show. Awesome was in all caps. I'm a huge fan and feel very lucky to have had a small part in it. I'm wishing you and your podcast partner lots of success with your show. Thanks so much, M. So thank you, Emily, for sharing that with us. That's so cool to hear. We really love hearing all of the information. It does sound like you're probably on base camp for the majority of the day, and then you come in and shoot your scene, and then you're done. Which is, I think that's, for me personally, and I think Madi would agree, that's like so true. That like interesting that you spent all day, and then you just like have 30 minutes to like maybe 2 hours maximum, which, that's how it goes. It's that hurry up and wait kind of thing. Be ready. But anyway, that was fun. We really loved Emily's performance and Izzy's performance. So thanks for sending that in. That's so cool to hear.
And then Mark and Leslie have this moment. There is a great moment as far as him saying, if everyone in government was like you, I probably wouldn't quit.
That's fair.
Love this little moment where they're wrapping everything up. On the commentary, they mentioned it and they pointed it out that this is the same bench that they sat on in season 1 when they were trying to fill in the pit, and he kissed her and it was weird at the end. Now they're filling out this season finale with wrapping it up a little bit more closure, and he also, Mike Schur mentioned that like in this one Mark respects her a little bit more, whereas I think in the last season he was not really seeing her as someone to like think of as an equal, if you will.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, which was like interesting because I wouldn't really have thought. I mean, I thought about the bench, but not really. Not really like the respect part of it. You know what I mean? Which I think I'm glad that was pointed out. And then they also mentioned that bench sits in her office, and they said that in the reality of the show, they made it so that like she would have bought that bench out for them, but they know it was kind of a stretch. But like. Yeah, it was cute. Anyway.
But it's a nice closing because
totally.
that's been their bench kind of.
This was a great scene. Both of them performed it so well. The writing was perfect. I love that she gets him red tape, and they're friends now. I feel, and then he drew up some plans for the park.
That was beautiful.
Oh, so good.
It was wonderful.
She wanted a roller coaster and a shark tank in the park.
Yeah.
I miss Mark. He was like, I couldn't get the roller coaster and the shark tank, but I think that this is a good start.
A good start. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, okay, so Dan Gore, I wanted to give this quote. I liked the symmetry of having it play a critical and opposite role in this finale. Last year, they sat on the bench and kissed, and it seemed like they might be getting back together. This year, they sat on the bench, and Mark kissed Leslie goodbye. I like that last line.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful.
Closing it out with different kisses for different meanings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
shows how much growth there is in a year.
Yeah, exactly. A lot can happen in a year. And that's something that they said on the commentary as well. See, we would be friends with them. We could be on the commentary too.
100%. We would fit in so well.
Yes. Rashida got really emotional. She said that they were both in the commentary and in the, they said that they were doing an Emmy panel. Her and Pratt were like looked at each other after the scene played. That was one of the clips that they played, and they like had tears in their eyes because it is emotional, I feel.
Yeah.
If you're really thinking about it the way that we are, as far as like how far these characters have come, and like that Mark's not going to be with us any longer from, he started out being this kind of like party boy bro frat guy, like, and then he moved on to like trying to be more serious and realizing what he needs to do to be happy. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I still can't really see Mark as like a frat boy, whatever dude, but I don't feel like he has that look, but I get it in a small town where he is like, he's very handsome for like having a small pool. You know? Yeah, I would definitely choose him over Tom, and I'm sorry. Not for looks, but for personality.
Yeah. I'm not sorry.
So anyway, so this is where we get to our tag, and she comes in, and before I get there, I'm so sorry. I wanted to say Amy Poehler said on the commentary that it's a great representation of like them on the bench being like, look how far we've come. The pit's filled in, but now also look how much there is left to do.
Right. Because here are the plans for.
Exactly. And also like, here's literally the red tape for both of us kind of in all these situations. And the pit is filled in, but like, there's nothing there, you know, like the park isn't there that she wants, and there's and all the plans and stuff. So I think that all that symbolism was really beautifully done. And
very intentional.
Super props to Amy and Paul.
Yeah.
So
I love now in this tag.
Yes.
I love that Leslie has taken Ron's spot.
Me too.
And Ben's face. Like he's accepting of it.
It's
you don't
so
think
cute.
he would be, but it's so
He
cute.
smiles.
His face. Yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
cute.
And she says, shall we get started? I have so many ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute. And yep, you'll notice if you watch this episode that she has a better photo now that she's essential. And her hair is up. It's so cute.
Yeah, I like it. I love this outfit.
Very precious. The second part of the tag. Oh my God.
Yeah, we're seeing Ron come in his golf shirt.
What a
Right?
cliffhanger. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Tom finds his picture of Jamie Foxx. So dumb. Aziz said on the commentary that he was trying so hard to get Jamie Foxx in the show. And so he finally did. But
that's amazing.
But yeah, so now Ron is in his Tiger Woods sex shirt. And then Wendy shows the hell up, kisses him. I'm not mad at Wendy. I'm just that my tone was not about that. My tone was more about like, oh my God, I thought like,
can we believe this is happening?
Yeah, I thought we were done. I thought we moved on from that. What? Now that what? I absolutely loved Lucy's like reaction to when he says that's my ex-wife, and they cut so fast she's like and turns her head like with her jaw dropped. It was so great.
Yeah.
And then they also said
so
that they had this Tiger Woods joke before the sex scandal, so there was no like discrepancy.
It wasn't fueled by that.
Correct. Great way of putting it. But yeah, so I love that we're seeing that was Freddy Spaghetti. Yay. And so
End of season 2.
End of season 2. So exciting that we are finally seeing Ben and Chris. And as we're watching this, like, you know, watching it again, I am definitely like, ooh, what's gonna happen with Ben and Leslie? Like, they're smiling at each other. Are they? But like, are they gonna be?
Takes fucking forever though.
It takes so long because that's I think I'm asking what's gonna happen, but I truly. Like, if I was watching this for the first time / in the rewatch even, I'm like, well, wait a second. I don't know. Maybe they're just like maybe he's just like getting along with her finally and like not being such a dick. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. They look those looks look pretty loving.
Giving some smirky smile, flirty flirts. Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us for so long. And we really appreciate it. And thank you for spending the first like 30-ish minutes talking with us about what's going on in our country. Don't forget that you can text ACT, A-C-T, to the number 64433 and then text MARCH to 954-954 and get involved, get into it. And also, this will probably... I think I'm going to go ahead and say that this will be the last episode for June. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to come back in July once we figure out our schedules and everything. And then we'll also give you a full report on Vegas because by that time it will have been over. Actually, by the time you hear this, it will have been over, which is wild that we're in that time warp because I'm not we're not going to post the first week in June. It'll be the second week. So, well, if you haven't written a review or rated us yet, please do that. Please also follow our Instagram. Thank you to Deb Hiett and thank you to Deborah Puette for sending in amazing voice memos. We appreciate that so much. Go follow Cash for Gold, and then I'll also tag Deb Hiett as well. And thank you to Nicole Pettis and Claudia Choi and Emily Adams for sending in voice memos and emails and text messages and we just are so appreciative of that and are so excited to hear all the behind the scenes that you guys have to share.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
We will see you soon, guys. Have a great June and have a great summer moment. And we're thinking of you. And write us a review, please.
Please and thank you.
Okay, bye.
There's a Parkinson Pals and there's also therapy too.